liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With that, we'll now be moving into our land acknowledgement.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This is also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice and recognize in our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
Clear. Thank you. That will now be moving into our swearing in of the new senators and associates. If you are new or if you're switching positions, if you could please join us here at the front. I state your name.
I, Jack Kemp,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. With that, we'll now be moving into beginning roll call.
Speaker of the Senate Reeves. Present. Speaker Pro Tempore Yang. Present. Parliamentarian Caldo.
Present.
Officer Eddington.
Present.
Senator Rodriguez. Present. Senator Farfan. Present. Senator Escobar.
Present.
Senator Bichau. Present. Senator Bennett.
Present.
Associate Senator Yalong. Associate Senator Choi.
Present.
Officer Diggs. Senator Chalk. Chairman Onti.
Present.
Senator Roberts.
Present.
Associate Senator Wilkin. Present. Associate Senator Cure. Senator Johnson. Senator Pata Perez. Present. Senator Dusterberg. Present. Senator Taylor.
Present.
Senator Ornelas. Senator Grenier. Senator McCorkle,
Present.
Senator Garnon, here. Senator Vega,
Present.
Senator Candelario, Senator Leggett,
Present.
Chair Rivera,
Present.
Senator Flores,
Present.
Associate Senator Gonzalez,
Present.
Chair McLaughlin, Senator Hanson, Senator Batchanin,
Present.
Senator Grant,
Present.
Senator Corey,
Here.
Senator Bone, Senator Mendoza,
Present.
Associate Senator Pratt, present. Senator Hernandez,
Present.
Senator Simpson,
Present.
Senator Frisky, Senator Fan, present. Senator Leary, here. Associate Senator Pearson,
Present.
Senator Jama, present. Senator Jeffries, here. Chair Hill, present. Associate Senator Groves, Associate Senator Vogel, Associate Senator Robertson, Chair Gilroy, and Senator Singleton.
Present.
I jumped too aggressively, but with that, we'll now be moving into consent agenda. Is there any dissent to this agenda? Senator Taylor.
I motion to move the LSAB Lex and the LSAB bylaws to the top of new business.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? Seeing none, that'll be reflected. Chair Rivera.
I would like to make a motion to move Bill 5545 to the beginning of new business, just because our main author has to leave at a certain time. And it's their first time presenting the bill, so I don't want them to feel rushed, if that's okay.
Remind me of the numbers.
5545, Fund and Government's end of the year.
Phenomenal. Is there a second? Second. Is there any dissent? Hearing none, that'll also be reflected. Is there any other dissent to this agenda? Senator Hernandez.
I motion to move Bill 5540 below Bill 5545 for similar reasons.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? With that, that'll also be reflected. That was a fun shuffling. Is there any other dissent to this agenda? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into gallery input. Does anyone from gallery wish to speak at this time? We'll go ahead and run the mic back to you guys.
Thanks, Ryan.
Do I get 5 minutes or what?
Yep. You are ready. You're good. Madam Speaker.
I was waiting for the timer.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Cool.
Okay. Hi, I'm back. You guys can't get rid of me that easily. So I'm here today to talk on behalf of the Lavender Cabinet Funding Bill. I know you guys aren't voting on it yet, but I strongly encourage you to vote yes on it when it does. The Lavender Cabinet, if you guys aren't aware, is a little closet that's bigger than my closet in the Pride Resource Center that has resources for, it has like binders, it has safe sex practice materials, it has information, it has books, it has makeup, it has hygiene products, it has a bunch of things. Sometimes you even have candy. And it's a great resource for both trans students and cis students, female, male, non-binary, intersex, whatever you need. Anyone can go in, and everyone's always welcome. And if we don't have funding, it won't be cool. There are also some, you'll see this in the bill, but there are some students who are from out of state that specifically come to CSU for the Lavender Cabinet. So it's a very good resource, and we should all like it and say thank you for everyone who helps the Lavender Cabinet. So yes, that is all. Thank you.
It starts when you start.
Okay, fire. All right, hi everyone, I'm Ant. I'm a co-chair for the YDSA and I'm a representative from the United Front for Freedom. I'm here to speak my concerns around the tent graduation ceremonies and to follow up on my speech given last week. To begin, I think that it is a shameful and utterly baffling decision for Colorado State University to host some of its graduations out in tents for the 2026 graduation ceremony. My problem with this stems from the methodology, in which these tents were assigned. And it ties back to complaints that the student body has been bringing up for months and months. By having some majors graduate outside and others graduate in the stadium, CSU is once again making it clear that it values some majors more than others. It values some students more than it values others. And it for sure does not value transparency. I do not believe that the process for choosing who gets the stadium and who gets the tents was one of randomness. But how am I supposed to know that when I am burdened by a university that makes decisions with no consultation of its student, professor, and staff masses? If students are not kept in the loop, they will begin to theorize why these decisions are being made in the first place. And I certainly have my thoughts regarding this decision. I think CSU is ashamed of this. I think the administration has for a long time acted like someone who cannot look you in the eyes when they give you a handshake, and not in the ADHD way, in the utterly cowardly fashion way. And I think they knew this decision, like many of their recent decisions, was not going to be popular. I think they were counting on the students to remain silent about this problem, as they often do. I think that we have the power to show that they are wrong. I think that our value as students does not come from what we can provide to the world, but it comes from what investments we can provide for this university. If you were paying at all attention to last week's public comment section, thank you for the senators that showed up to the Mass Assembly and are working with student activists. That means a lot. You would know that CSU is funded and run by bloody money from bloody corporations. And if you all will permit me, I would like to go on a quick little side tangent. I think that it is much more than just career fairs like the one happening tomorrow that make the problems of our university. It is internships with Woodward and the like. It is internships, it is entire buildings built by Lockheed Martin and billboards built by the Street Media Group. It is complicity in a system of oppression and exploitation that we, the student activists, take issue with. Getting back on track, I think that every day the decisions and environment created by the higher ups at CSU, both in the student body and the broader administration, demonstrate more and more why we need a fundamental change in the structure and leadership at our university. We, the students, generate money for the university. I modeled at a fashion show where the beautiful outfits created by hard work from the apparel design and merchandising students were used to just market towards CSU's investors. We are being exploited and reduced down to opportunities for investment. And that has got to change for this university to remain standing. The last thing I want to say is that as a queer person, I fully throw my support behind Bill 5540. Please, for the love of God, fund the Pride Center. It's the least you can do. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ian, and I also want to address the decision that was made by the university to put some majors in tents for graduation while giving other majors the opportunity to have an actual graduation inside of a building. I've been going to this school for 4 years now, as many of you probably are going to do. My Nana cannot sit outside that long, especially in the unprecedented heat that we are feeling. especially in the rainiest month of the year. I've heard other students say that they have uninvited their family to graduation because it just isn't worth it. What this is showing is that the administration just does not care about their students. Commencement is supposed to be a grand ceremony which celebrates some of the hardest work that students have done in their entire lives. More and more, the school just shows that they do not care. This is a byproduct of treating students like pieces of capital, investors in a financial institution, and not hardworking people, future leaders, and artisans. I urge the ASCSU push the school to show respect to the students who have forked over tens of thousands of dollars by not forcing us to graduate in tents. I would rather have a graduation ceremony in the Clark basement than force my grandparents to sit in the heat or rain. And to our president, Amy Parsons, I know you have a poli-sci bachelor's. Imagine if your school showed this kind of disregard to you when you graduated. Have a good night and free Palestine.
Hi, my name is Peyton and I'm a student with the College of Natural Sciences. I'm here to ask you to support the Lavender Cabinet bill, as this bill will help fund many aspects of student success, especially within the Pride Resource Center. I'm heavily involved with the Pride Center, and I know how important this bill will be to me and my community. The Lavender Cabinet has helped folks, including myself, explore different ways of self-expression, allowing for students to feel more confident in their bodies, in their schoolwork, and showing up for classes. The Lavender Cabinet has gender-affirming care, hygiene products, and much more, which are all considered life-saving care. I have seen firsthand on how this helps people's well-beings and their confidence. This also helps students choose CSU over many other universities because they had access to these free resources. The Lavender Cabinet has helped me find more confidence in myself as I've gotten to use the gender-affirming care provided as well. This bill will help the Pride Center continue to fund this care, having a lasting impact on the student population. With that said, I hope that next week you consider voting yes for the Lavender Cabinet bill. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name's Sam. I'm a grad student here, and I'd like to speak on something I witnessed yesterday in the plaza, which was a student getting arrested by the police related to bike travel. So I didn't see the whole thing occur, but basically I arrived in the plaza and was parking my bike, and I heard somebody yelling and saying, "This is ridiculous. What's going on?" And it was this person with the headphones on, and they were handcuffed, I don't know if it was zip tied, whatever, by police officers, I'm assuming university police, and they were demanding that this was ridiculous and that they should be let go and that they were just on their way to class and they couldn't hear with their headphones in, which they eventually asked them to take them off. And then they were taken into the police car with their bike strapped to it and driven off. And I talked to somebody else who said they saw the whole thing, and apparently what they said they witnessed was that the student was biking in the dismount zone, which I'll get to in a second, and was physically stopped somehow by the police, fell off their bike. I don't know if something in their reaction prompted the police officer to think that they should be detained or handcuffed, but that's what I arrived and saw, and then they were carted off. Obviously, yeah, I didn't do anything, and I don't feel good about that in the moment, but first I'd just like to say that I heard later that a few weeks ago the police were handing out citations or warnings of some sort in this area, and I never saw that. I'm not on campus that often, and then I just happened to see this crazy, appalling event happen, and now I know not to bike in the plaza, I guess. But if the university or these police officers, if I can't convince you that their actions were ridiculous and out of line, then let's just talk about it logically, right? So here's the first thing I would do if I was in some administrative role. I would email every student at the university and say, hey, big all caps, big warning in your email inbox, everybody who goes to this school, we're gonna start, enforcing this dismount zone thing. I never got an email like that, and I checked mine. I know not everybody does check it, but yes, that's pretty ridiculous for that reason, I'll say. The other part is that what an escalation it was in such a short time. And I know you guys have probably bylaws by design that you work slowly at a slow pace, government, yada yada. But I know that you guys are capable of standing up to crazy administrative things such as the Free Speech Act that happened in the plaza. So I would urge you to have just as urgent of an escalation in response to such a overbearing administrative response to students not following this rule. And if you want to say they were just following the law of the dismount zone, I'd ask you, when have you ever seen a biker crash into a walking student in the dismount zones on campus? What's the point of them anyway? And what is the time that these are in effect? Where's the bylaw of that or whatever? Where's my student email about that? At 4 p.m. the plaza's pretty much empty. So is there a critical density of population in the plaza or dismount zone that should be in effect for people to dismount their bikes? Or should you just guesstimate it, or just hope a cop doesn't throw you off and then cart you off and make you miss class and give you a panic attack or some traumatic event that you now have to endure because, I don't know, whoever from some dean's office said, yeah, let's terrorize students today. And this isn't I guess it seems like a lot of issues are at play on campus right now, but yeah, this is pretty home turf, and I don't think anybody should stand for it, and we should stand against it very immediately with just as much effort as whoever decided to enforce this did. All right, thank you.
Well, I've got to get my notes app open. Whew. Okay. Test? Okay. Hello, my name is Michael. You've all probably seen me around at some point or another. I'm going to be talking on 3 topics today, and I'll try to keep it short because I value your time. CSU's Climate Initiative mission and values page focuses on building a climate-resilient future for all in Colorado and beyond. Our school has almost entirely moved away from Scope 1 emissions, eliminating all CO2-based direct emissions except for those generated in the Scope 2, which are indirectly purchased energy emissions, that's stuff in CSU stock, and in Scope 3, which is indirect value chain emissions. So things in the downstream, things that we'll get into this a little bit later, but things that we're sending our students into, And if we actually intend to keep with these promises, we would ensure that the influence of the military-industrial complex is minimized as much as is legally permissible on campus. Considering that the US military, if compared with the other nations of the world, would be the 47th largest emitter of carbon dioxide, right above Morocco, which is a country containing 37 million people. We would hope that CSU would be trying to divert their, Scope 3 value chain emissions from the military-industrial complex. The Cost of Wars project found the interventions in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Syria created around 400 million metric tons of carbon dioxide alone, not to say anything about the ongoing ecocide created by the complete demolition of the Gaza Strip through the usage of indiscriminate bombings. If CSU seriously seeks to reduce the emissions produced in Scope 2 and 3, the creation of channels to funnel our students into the military-industrial complex must be a major target for our university and the administration. CSU should stand on our promises of sustainability and cut off our ties to companies involved in these environmental atrocities. CSU must cut off their internship program with Woodward, and I call upon all of those who have signed on to this internship to drop it out of moral principle. I also want to quickly talk about the situation that liberal arts majors have been relegated to, considered the quote-unquote ceremony tent. Really great name there, I gotta say. As a self-hating political science major, I think that the relegation of political science majors to the ceremony tent during graduation is the fate we all deserve. But I think that the placement of all liberal arts majors into a random tent is dishonorable and simply marks a new development in CSU's systematic disvaluation of liberal arts majors. Finally, I want to say in the face of the oncoming 287G program from ICE and CBP CSUPD should restate their commitment to not participate in any federal law enforcement operations. Also, want to echo what Sam said, because you can't be throwing kids off their bikes for like a $35 ticket. That's fucked up. Excuse my language, sorry.
Hi everyone, I'm Maya. I'm one of the other co-chairs for the YDSA. I'm here to talk about the graduation and the fact that many students are being placed in tents. This is very unfair. For some of you, this may be your major or your department, or your friend's major, or your family's major, or someone else. For some of you, you will never have to worry about this, and that's great. I wonder how you would feel if you put many years into this institution just to graduate outside in a tent, let alone at 8 p.m. Wow. I probably wouldn't even show up, man. I don't even know, to be honest. Yeah. So many of you guys in this room are here because of many efforts your family has made, and many efforts your parents have made, and many other sacrifices. Did they sacrifice for you to be graduating in a tent? I don't really think so. Are they proud of that? Are you proud of that? No. That's why people are telling their families, don't show up, don't come to graduation, I don't want you here, it's just not worth it. That's disappointing. You put so much time and effort into an institution to just tell your family at the very end, don't show up, don't look at my accomplishments, don't look at what I've put my time and effort into, don't look at what I've done with what you've sacrificed for me to become. Again, outside in a tent at 8 p.m. Are the cameras gonna even pick us up? Like, man, I don't even know. I'm just saying. I'm trying to lighten the room, everybody's staring, like, very serious, and I know it is serious, it is. It's disappointing, it's disheartening. I don't agree with it. I don't think any of us in this room do. Yeah, that's it.
Double checking, does anyone else from the gallery wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move. I accidentally switched the agenda to the one that I had it written on, that was my bad, guys. But with that, we'll now be moving into our guest speaker. Shout out guest speaker, we're done with guest speaker, now we're in executive reports. If our friends from executive want to join us at the break.
Where's the rest of exec? You're it. Great. I am executive branch now. Anyways, sorry. Hi, I'm Lauren. I see a lot of new faces and people in the audience, so I just wanted to update you on a few things basic needs wise. Just as a reminder, the planning for the Basic Needs Summit is well underway. We have that scheduled for April 20th, which is a Monday from 9 to 4 p.m. Food and transportation will be provided if that is a concern for anyone, but if you have interest, just mark your calendars. And I have an RSVP form coming out within the next couple weeks that I'll send your way as well, and then you can blast that out to constituents. Also, we have the drink spike test strips ordered for the ramp and harm reduction efforts, and they're on their way, so we're going to start that very soon. That'll be a monthly thing. For anyone who doesn't know, because again, there's a lot of new people, we as ASCSU and partners with the Safe Center are going out once a month to table at Ramban on Thursday night and hand out cup covers, drink spike test strips, and then also just general information, just in an attempt to curb any sort of harm. So I will be sending out a sign-up genius for that within this next week, because my goal is to have it, the tentative date for the first one, be 2 weeks from tomorrow, which is March 12th, I believe, a Thursday. And then the last thing is you should have all seen in your teams a sign-up genius. That is for the Health Network Spring Safety Tabling Fair. They're going to do a tabling fair right before spring break in their partnership with a bunch of different organizations, and people can come and make little safety kits before they go home for spring break. So that includes things like Narcan, fentanyl test strips, cup covers, Band-Aids like sunscreen and that kind of stuff too. Just a whole bunch of different things so that people can have that when they go home from the break. The only other thing was, I know that we're starting to approach spring break, and then we'll start to get into like hiring for next semester and kind of people thinking about what they want to do next year. So I just wanted to put my name out there, put my email, ASCSU_director_basic_needs at Colorado State. If you guys ever have any questions, or you just want to talk about basic needs, you want to maybe are considering it for next year, or if you have anything that you're curious about, feel free to hit me up. You can also come in during my office hours. I'm usually here. But I would love to chat with you guys. I love to talk about basic needs, and so I just wanted to put my name out there again and know that I am super approachable and would love to be approached. Any questions? Okay, thanks.
Hey guys, just a couple of updates. The first one being Day at the Capitol will be March 31st. Make sure to put that in your calendar. It's going to be a super fun and amazing event, and I'm actually hoping it to be the largest and also with the most amount of students, not just liberal arts or not just ASCSU. I'd love to see some ag and Warner students in there, just because I feel like a lot of your discipline really corresponds to what Day at the Capitol works for. Just some updates from LSAT as always. We had the district energy proposal last week, and then we also had some conversations regarding SB 2638. We'll actually be voting on both of those issues today, or not today, I'm so sorry y'all, Thursday, tomorrow from 6 to 7. And then we'll also be discussing HB 261012 and SB 2678. I'm currently working with Andrew, our Chief of Operations, to getting a dedicated section on the website for all of LSAB operations, so that even if you're not a part of the board, you're able to stay updated on everything that's happening, as well as possibly even join us. These are open meetings, and I invite really anyone who would like to come to those meetings. Of course, you can't vote, but your opinion is really important to the stances that we take. And LSAB has a lot of power. And speaking of a lot of power in LSAB, there is still a seat open for the legislative branch. I personally would say that between Day at the Capitol and my role on LSAB, those two were really what solidified me being able to get this position, frankly. Day at the Capitol, when I went there, it was my first time ever really going to the Capitol, my first time really ever interacting with ASCSU in the spring of 2024, and quite literally, like, after that event, it would solidify my understanding of ASCSU and how much I loved it. And so from that event on, I was super involved. And then with LSAB, I was able to understand how students have, you know, great power. And so especially as a senator, I was able to have that experience, and really both got me to where I am right now. So if you have any questions about being on LSAB, or you're not sure, I feel like not sure is not a fair thing to say as to why you wouldn't run. It's a learning experience for everyone. So run, just run, just run. It's fun, it's so fun. And then my last thing is that the Democracy, I can speak, Summit is from March 9th to 11th. That's also voting time. So hashtag involve yourself in civic engagement and democracy processes. Okay, that's what I thought. Just email me if you need anything.
Awesome. With that, I'll now be moving into judicial reports.
Alright, hi y'all. How's it going? Happy elections. I wanted to put on your radar that 2 weeks from today, right now, is the election. The results will be announced right here, right now. So that's super exciting, but it does mean we are in the peak of things. Geo is going to be putting a QR code up on the board. I would ask that everyone takes out their phones and scans it. We have a whole lot of tabling happening in the next 2 weeks, and we need everyone's help. I know last year it was a bit of a thing when we came to announce the results, and so we want everyone to participate and help us get the word out. If you haven't heard, there is a really cool rodeo event that's happening this year. There will be a mechanical bull on the plaza. It's going to be really awesome. But we need a lot of hands on deck to make that happen, and so I would super appreciate if you would help us get the word out on that. QR code. Sign up for any shifts you are available for. There's inside options, there are outside options. However you want to engage, please do. Additional reminders, please continue doing your jobs. Office hours should not be going towards campaigning. your time in that space as an ACSU resource, and that is not to go towards campaigning, so just please be mindful of that. If you have any questions on things that you are concerned about violations or you're concerned about anything in that regard, please do reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss. I'm in the office pretty much anytime I'm not in class right now, so I'm happy to discuss with you. And then Seats at the Table is our roundtable event with candidates. That is going to be the night of March 3rd, which is a Tuesday. We need RSVPs for that, so if you're interested in attending and being at the table with the candidates, asking the questions that you have in a little bit more of a close-knit setting than you would at the debate, please RSVP. That QR code is on the bulletin board in the office, outside Judicial, and then also on the website. So please get those RSVPs in so we can start planning a little bit more on that. And then there's a lot of other events going on from my team. These are more neutral, so these are just voting in general versus voting for a specific candidate. So we would super appreciate having you there. And if anyone has any questions, please reach out. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Melanie. I serve as the Supreme Court Chief Justice. I'm going to talk about two things while Gio brings that up. But the other thing is that next week we're going to have a guest speaker. It's Dr. Huseby. She is a professor in microbiology, and she's also the chair of OER, which is Open Educational Resources. OER is under the provost, and they came to ASCSU looking for support themselves. This resolution is specifically shown to shown that OER has student support. We're not the only entity they're reaching out to. They're also reaching out to faculty and staff and administration. However, they're going to show this resolution in terms of getting state grant funding, getting more support on campus from administration, and so that is why they came to ASCSU wanting this resolution. So that was passed, or that was put in the Teams, if you guys want to read that, and it will also be in the Monday newsletter. And so the resolution, as long with her guest presentation, will come next Wednesday. If you guys have any questions, Victoria, your guys' fellow senator, I don't know where she is, and also committee chair is a author on that, and she would be glad to talk to you guys about any of that. Okay, great. And so here are the judicial bylaws. A few things that it's the same thing as last time. We just made it very clear that this does not include elections committee members. And then we wanted to keep it vague enough so if there is an election engagement officer next year and there's an election advertiser, then that position can change with time. However, the elections manager and then any official being paid authorized to work on behalf of elections is also included, but not the committee. And so that was the change there. And then we also have an opinion out. And so I'm going to read through that. Briefs are open. They've been open since last Friday after our meeting at 7 p.m. and we will hear it this Friday at 6 p.m. And so if you guys have any opinions, thoughts, facts on this brief, I ask you to please email me at ASCSU Supreme Court. And so all briefs get sent out to the entire court to read ahead of our hearings. And so we like to hear your guys' thoughts and things. You guys know this, and we want to hear it from your perspective also. Okay, so this was filed on February 16th by Senator Eddington. And here are the questions. In recent sessions of the 55th Senate, there's been an increase in participation from members within Senator Emeritus status. While we honor those who sat in these seats before us, it has become disruptive to the functioning of the Senate, as there seems to be conflation between people with ex officio status and Senator Emeritus status. For that reason, I'm seeking the clarification and distinction of the rules laid forth in the bylaws of the 54th Senate. The issues at hand are exemplified by the following 4 questions. How long is one granted ex officio status when appointed as a representative per the 54th Senate bylaws, Article 4, Section 3, Subsection B, Subsection C? Does a Senator Emeritus have ex officio status? Without ex officio status, would a Senator Emeritus have rights to make motions? Are speaking rights distinct from the right to motion? And then all detailed facts pertaining to this bill, including anyone already contacted and the history of the bill, is in question 4. Cited into this opinion, as passed in the 54th Senate bylaws, Section 3 rights, senators shall have floor, speaking, motion, and voting rights during Senate meetings. B,
Associate senators shall have 4 speaking and motion rights during Senate meetings and shall have limited voting rights for when any senator from the respective college, office, or council is not presented or an empty seat exists for the college, as passed in the 54 Senate bylaws. Okay, so we are accepting briefs until Friday at 6 p.m. And so if you guys have any questions on that, please let me know. That's all for me.
Thank you. That will now be moving into legislative reports, starting with officer reports, starting with me. So, in case you're not familiar, this is our lovely, lovely legislative template. This Monday, unfortunately, with no hate to the authors that are going to be presented later today in new business, I spent 2.5 hours making sure that the legislation actually fit with the template's guidelines. Legislative cabinet will be more strict with this in the future. Some key things to hit, your abstract needs to be under 200 characters. I know it gets confused. First time I wrote legislation, I think it was a combination of Ellie and Hayden who had to be like, it's not 200 words, 200 characters. So no worries on that end. But additionally, make sure you're putting in a heading, you're fixing the resources, you're not resolving and enacting legislation, you're doing one or the other. Resolved is for resolutions, enacted is for our bills, and the non-resolution bits of our ledges. Yeah, make sure to actually do the template so I don't have to be like, you have to wait another week, go fix it. But other than that, onboarding's still a thing that's happening. Look out in your emails. If you have any questions ever, hit me up on my email, phone number, Teams, all of that fun stuff. Cool, yeah. Other officers?
Wait, you want to go first?
You have stuff.
Me?
Yeah.
Me? Okay. Hello all. I had originally planned to walk around and make this, but today has been a day, so I'm just gonna stand here. Okay, so as promised, I was supposed to make this presentation last week. Just because we had a lot of things to do, I decided against. We also have a lot of stuff, so I'll really try and speed up, make the points brief. But yes, this is my Speaker Pro Tempore plans and goals for the second semester presentation. Okay, so what will we do? Y'all know me, I'm fair pronouns, any pronouns, and my position is Speaker Pro Tempore. I'll be discussing culture shifts, accountability, institutional forums, and how to contact me, plus my office hours. Yeah. Take a look at these animations. Aren't they nice? Okay, so first, what is our current culture? Some representatives are reluctant to voice dissent or disagree with others due to being seen as toxic or aggressive. Some senators limit speech to avoid hurting feelings and are taking things said during confidence business personally. There is also a sense of unprofessionality, not in a sense of how we hold ourselves, but in a sense of complete disregard of bylaws in terms of ad hominems on the floor. Personal relationships are sometimes prioritized over procedures and responsibilities, which leads to apathetic attitudes about elections, disengagement with Senate, and legislation as a whole. Resentment builds due to this and hinders collaboration not only within our branch, but within other branches here. There's a general lack of accountability. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Let me actually make a point. Everyone look around the room and see how it's all filled. When we were first starting this semester, was it this filled? What's one thing that differs from last semester to this semester? Strikes being sent out. You know what? Don't point at yourself right now. But yeah, so strikes. While strikes can be a hard thing to receive sometimes, this is the effort of our mistakes. This is what comes. We have a full body. Like, let's keep up this good work. But yeah, job duties and bylaws are sometimes ignored with zero consequences as they have been done in the past. Strikes, quite frankly, should have been sent out. There should have been a lot of things being done. But yeah, this goes for the Senate body and also Senate leadership. What does this mean? It causes a lack of engagement with legislation and critically considering discussion before voting. It also hinders participation and potential collaboration within our branch, but also inter-branch, as I said before. Another point I want to nail in, as Senate body, we should be critically thinking about legislation. We should be reading this legislation before we see it. It's sent out in the weekly newsletter. Quite frankly, you should be reading it and engaging with it. So, what can we do to move forward? I will support Ledge Cabin leadership to be the example of these kinds of culture shifts. So I really do think that if y'all have an example that is being set, you know what to do. But that also goes for all of us. Senate leadership does not need to be the only people setting the example. This responsibility is on everyone in this room, with the exception of gallery. But yes, we need to address problematic behaviors when they arise and take the steps needing to call out, but also call back in. At the same time that we are trying to improve, like I said, like we're humans, like we make mistakes. So remember when we're calling people out to also call them back in at the same time. Professionality, not in how we physically show up, but how we orient ourselves around others. There should always be a respectable air when we're having conversations with others. I know this is a political space. We don't have to agree on everything, but quite frankly, you should be respecting everyone in this space. Sorry. But, yeah, thank you. Also, avoiding personal attacks on people in this space. I should not be hearing it on the floor, especially or anywhere in the office. Respectfully, save it for a time you aren't here. If I was seeing that moving forward, I'm gonna shut it down. I also expect that from all of you. And yeah, give people grace where it's needed, but also maintain boundaries. And I want you all to be able to put your trust in Senate leadership as guides if problems arise. Now I'm ready for the fourth slide. Fourth slide. Accountability and leadership within the Senate. First with LegCab, I want to make sure that LegCab completes their promises made during campaigning last year. As always, fulfillment of job requirements. For some reason, a lot of people are confused about what they actually need to do. I implore you to all read your job descriptions. If you haven't done so, please, you should do so. And also, read the job descriptions of the people sitting in front of you, because quite frankly, I think that would increase a lot of accountability, because you take a look through there like, I didn't see this. You asked us that question. Why am I not seeing you do this? Thank you. But yeah, if you all would like to have LegCab to see us exemplify anything, let me know, or any suggestions or corrections to make you feel more confident in our leadership. I'm not sure if y'all saw the Teams message. I have that speaker pro tempore feedback form I sent out in Teams. If you also go on the website, it's also linked under my position. So you can fill that out. It's also completely anonymous. So yeah. For senators and associates, I really want to nail in the direct constituent engagement. Obviously, I have that new office hours legislation coming through. On my part, I'm creating a monthly newsletter to really make visible all the opportunities to engage and to do that outreach. That's going to be made up of CRC events, advocacy events, and college council events across that will be released monthly. So instead of being like, oh, I don't really know what to do for outreach, which you should, but you'll just have an easy document like, oh, I can pull up, I can go to this thing, I can go to this thing. But yeah, again, like I said, respectful interaction between each other. Please don't make me call you out, because I will be correcting this behavior moving forward. And I think I can speak for everyone when I say I don't play. But yeah, I'll treat everyone with this expectation regardless of personal affiliations. And again, with senators and associates, fulfilling job requirements. Next slide of the code. But yes, is it like, yeah, look at this. It's so nice, right? It's so nice. Yeah, I made that. But anyways, institutional reforms, bylaws, we still have those being written right now. We're going to see a lot of changes coming through, really clarifying and codifying a lot of things that we don't see in the fourth bylaws. One thing I want to do is make navigation within Senate easier. So doing that through legislation workshops. While legislation workshops internally facing, but me and our lovely recruitment and retention officer are pairing up to host a series of legislation workshops for student groups that are advocacy centered. It's where we're inviting a lot of student groups to have constituents meet with them, and we're also teaching them how to write their own legislation, because a fun fact that some of y'all might know, students are actually allowed to write legislation and get it through. Of course, they need to have those sponsorships and endorsements, but they're completely allowed to do that, and I think empowering our constituents is a very powerful part of our job. But yeah, and then the establishment of Senate norms. I want to create, I don't know if y'all seen it, but some of us are familiar with the Green and Gold book. It is meant to be internal facing and stuff. I want to make kind of like a new version of that using simple diction, kind of like a little handbook, similar to that little help thing that you have on your name tag. So it's like something I could pull out of my pocket, like, I don't know the answer, like, let me look, like, what are the types of voting that we could do? Let me look. But yeah, I think that would really help and make people comfortable to ask questions or get familiar with this space. Like I said before, hard emphasis on direct constituent engagement and further codifying it through things like the Office Hours Reform Bill. Ready? So, how can you reach me? I'm honestly in the office pretty often, but if not, my office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12:30 to 1:45 p.m. Please text me if you need anything. Of everyone here, I'm probably the least formal, and I really don't want to be formal with y'all. I'm here to support y'all in any way, shape, or form, so reach out. Like, say you have a big event going on, or like you're presenting something like at murals or something, invite me. I'll be there to support you. Like, I am in your corner, whether that be something through ASUSU or just life in general. Like, I consider all of you like my friends. Like, I want to be there for you. Or you can email me. I'm not about to say that big long email, but it's there. You know where to reach me. Also, it's linked on the website, and my office hours are also on the website. Yeah, I hope I made this fast, quick, to the point. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and thank you.
I'm gonna keep the star up. No. What they said. That's it. No. So I've been going through recently preparing for the transition period to make sure it's pretty smooth. For that, I'm looking through the National Association of Parliamentarians criteria for credentialing. It is 52 pages long, quite a reduction from the 1,200 that's Robert's rules. And from that, I'm trying to condense it to probably about like 10, hopefully. So the parliamentarian that comes after can engage this space better than I have. Yeah. Additionally, I am working with our Recruitment and Retention Officer Eddington and Speaker Pro Tem Poore to kind of provide sort of procedural guidance, how to know the bylaws, in addition to that legislative drafting workshop. They've done a wonderful job with that initiative, and I'm very excited to see where that goes. And as always, that feedback box will be posted at the end of the session along with the legislation, and thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, this is only my second time and I messed it up again. So, congratulations to all the people that were ratified tonight. Please expect an email from me. We have to meet. I would love to onboard you. It's going to be from ASUSU Senate membership. Keep an eye on your emails, all right? To the senators that were ratified last week, please check your emails for a similar reason. Also, I'm very happy to report that the sororities and fraternities have been very responsive in getting back to me so I can start recruiting from them. I am unhappy to report that the college councils have not. Please, please, most of you are in your college councils. Please talk to them. Tell them to email me back. Or you are all also empowered. Brooke mentioned this last week, I remember. You are all also empowered to reach out to me yourselves and say, hello, this is the time for my college council. Join me at the meeting. And then I would then join you at the meeting. So please, I'm really trying to increase efforts to recruit from your different colleges. I would love to see more representation in this space. We're running out of seats, but we could share. We can start sharing them. So yeah, keep all that in mind. And if you guys have any questions about things going on top of Brooke and Farron, I'm also a point of contact you can come to for support in this space at any point. That's all. I yield.
Brief question. What college councils do you currently not have contact with so people in this room can know which they should be coming with?
So I've been invited to Natural Sciences, and that's the one I do have contact with. Maybe that would be an easier question to answer. If I didn't just say your college, I haven't heard from them.
Additionally, meaning that if you are not a CNS senator, as in if you are not 2 people, 3 people, is Victoria here? Oh. And a number of CNS senators, you should be sending no one an email with the location, the time, and the place of your college council meeting. So with that, Officer Diggs is online. Just
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. So sorry that I couldn't be there in person today, but I have a couple quick things to report. Yesterday morning, I went to the first of those classroom presentations that me and Farron had been working on with CSJ. Unfortunately, she's not able to make it, but it was a smashing success, I would say. It was a social work class. They were really receptive, and it seemed like really interested in learning more about ASCSU. I think the problems that we have with engagement, our outreach problems, I know that's been said a million times. I don't want to be a broken record, but the students are receptive. The students do want to learn. We just have to go to them. So I would implore you all to be doing that outreach. And then I also wanted to extend an invitation. If anyone in this room is a transfer student or you identify as like an adult learner, please reach out to me. I got a lot of good feedback when I was at that classroom visit about transfer students and adult learners in college wanting some sort of resource for basically all of the funny systems that we use at CSU. Not funny, but like getting used to Outlook, getting used to Canvas, getting used to the textbooks, day one access. If you haven't been in college for many years, or you haven't been in school for many years, or if you're just a transfer student and it's a new system to you, I would love to get you guys' feedback on that and maybe get something in the works. But I'll keep it short. That's all I have for now. Thank you. I yield.
I had one more thing I forgot. Credit where credit is due. My calendar has just reminded me. Liberal Arts College, you're off the chopping block. I've talked to your college. Grad students, I've also talked to your college. So that's all. Sorry, I forgot when I was briefing earlier.
Thank you, Officer Eddington. With that, we'll now be moving into our committee and caucus reports by First Rose Blackburn. Chairman Lofty.
Hi, y'all. So, as you know, teams, we have an update. You can now choose what channels you are in. So if any of y'all were interested in Student of the Oval Caucus, y'all should probably hop in. I'm pretty sure that on there is a new when to meet. Y'all should fill it out, because that will determine the new meeting time. Because I've recently gotten a secretary. I have a vice chair. We love Bowman. Senator Bone. My brain's 5,000 miles an hour. But because of that, I want them both to be there, and thusly that requires me to create a new time. So, if you can't go, but you're still interested in Students of the Oval Caucus, which, ending tonight and 2 weeks from now, will be renamed to Community Action Caucus. This is your chance now. This is your only chance to rechange the time. I repeat, go into that channel, fill out that when to meet. That will determine when I meet. I kid you not. Anyway, I yield.
Thank you. Chair Leary.
Hi everyone. So Assembly Caucus met today, and then we will continue to meet Wednesdays at 4 p.m. in the conference room. And then our bylaws do say that the chair is meant to put the agenda in a newsletter. So I did this on Monday. I did mess up the formatting a little bit, but I will continue to do this and hopefully get the formatting correctly better. And then please add our channel, make it visible on your teams, and then turn on the notifications potentially so that you can see other announcements. And then we set goals for this semester. We will work on our yearly report with consideration for the previous leadership transition and help with future transitions. We have a goal to make elections more accessible, finish the RSO accessibility training, the registration organization, and then allocating the money for accessible portable walkways, and then funding physical accessibility. And then I'll just make a quick report for Matthew. Chair Grenier is asking that you fill out his when to meet that is available on the general and the Senate channels. Additionally, Housing Caucus will hold a preliminary meeting tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. in the conference room.
Sorry, I got distracted by a 6-7 joke. Chair Rivera.
Hello, everyone. UA met on Monday from 12 to 1. We looked at legislation impacting the state level as well, and then we endorsed the bill. Yeah.
Was it perchance the onboarding?
Yes, that bill, the onboarding bill. But yes, we endorsed it. It has been it moved to a committee. Yes. And then I'm giving a report on behalf of Victoria. Firstly, that committee will be on Tuesday, and everyone should do the fashion show for Black History Month. Secondly, Elisa gave her a spreadsheet that someone started on who serves on what for students and what we're allowed. Last, all police records will be free for ASCSU's officials, usually 10, but can be 50 plus. Do that with what you will, and if not, ask Victoria, because, yeah.
Could you potentially ask Victoria to also drop her report in Teams?
Yes, I will do that, but yeah. Lastly, just visit us in committee. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Chair Hill.
Oh, sorry. I really wanted to apologize firstly for not making it to caucus last week. I was sick. It wasn't ideal. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Now I've forgotten. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I yield.
Real, Chair McLaughlin.
Hello, Budgetary Committee did not meet last week. We will be meeting tomorrow with what looks like a very exciting and full agenda. Also, the current balance of the Senate Discretionary Fund is $36,000 and $36,352.34. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Do any other chairs or caucuses wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into Senator and Associate Senator reports. So I first raise back. Chairman Monty.
Hey, it's me again. So, as we near the end of Black History Month this week, there are a few events that will be happening. There's the ASCSU S'mores event being held. I believe it is from, I didn't have the time to say, I believe it starts at 6? Tentatively 6, we're gonna say. I know there's a flyer hanging around out there in the office. You've definitely seen the event. 6 to 7. Oh, okay. Oh, God. Besides that, there's also the end of year fashion show. It is going to be this Friday. I double checked it this time. Tragically, I will not be there, but do you know what will be there? Fashion made by students, worn by students. It's going to be a great way to be looking and supporting students. It starts the doors open at 4:30, and it's going to go until 7. So y'all should absolutely go there to support and see the great work of Black students in the realm of fashion, art, and just show your general support for Black people, because y'all all love Black people. So yeah, with that, I yield, and happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Chair.
Sorry, y'all. Okay, I just wanted to quickly plug the Warner College Council's networking mixer. It's tomorrow from 5 to 7. There will be food. You can register on Handshake. And there will be 40 plus professionals from various realms in natural resources. So even if you're not a Warner student, but you're like, dang, it'd be really cool to work for CPW, like that would be awesome. Come, chat, have some food. Yeah, I'll see y'all there.
Awesome, thank you. Senator Johnson.
Hi y'all, I'm in a sorority, Chi Omega, and we're having a Thrift for Wishes on Saturday from 10 to 2. So there's typically pretty good stuff, and you get to support Make-A-Wish. So if you're interested, hit my line, but it's cool, you can thrift. And I get points if you drop my name as McAllister if you come. So if you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, it makes no difference to me. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Leary.
Sorry. Okay. SDC is having the dinner and a show event on March 5th. I believe 5 p.m. But anyways, you do have to RSVP on Ramlink, so regardless, you'll find out the time on Ramlink if you RSVP. But it is in the theater, and it's basically an event where you watch a movie, and this time it's How to Train a Dragon. I've never seen it. Yes, Brooke is excited. And then they talk a little bit about the disability aspects in the movie, and then they give you themed catered food from catering. So, yeah. And it's like, last time I went, it was like several courses. It was cool. It was chill. I think that's all. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to give a report at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into competence business, starting with the LSAV member election. With that, do I hear any nominations for this position? Senator Potter-Perez.
I'd like to nominate Senator Dusterberg.
Annalise, do you accept this nomination?
Sure.
Sounds good. Are there any other nominations for this position? Hearing none, Annalise, if you want to go ahead and join us at the front. Yes. You'll have a 10-minute period to give us a spiel about yourself. Don't feel like you have to fill the whole 10 minutes.
Hi everyone. I've been wanting this seat. I haven't been here for the past 2 weeks because I've been sick, but I've been wanting to run for this seat and hoping that it's been open. I'm on another fee review board, so this seems kind of right up my alley, and it's something I'm really interested in. I feel like everyone's always asking, where does our money go? To be able to actually have an answer, I feel like would be nice. Any questions?
With that, we'll now be moving into a period of Q&A by First Year's Placard. Senator Singleton.
Let's see, not that many questions, probably just one. How confident are you in your ability to be able to keep this position and have enough time with school and things like that?
I'm pretty confident in my workload right now. I feel pretty good about how everything's going. Like I said, I've kind of been put through the ringer for the past 2 weeks since I haven't been here, but going forward, I feel like I'm in a really good position, and I feel confident with my time management with schoolwork.
Cool, thank you, I yield.
Are there any other questions?
Point of information, is this an election for the Student Fee Review Board or the Legislative Strategy Advisory Board?
This would be for LSAT.
Okay.
Because it doesn't say anything crazy. No, okay, cool. I didn't write it wrong. Yes, it's for LSAT.
Then I have a question. You mentioned fees and not legislation.
Yeah, I'm on a fee review board as well. That's not necessarily just legislation, but it's just another thing that I'm also a part of as well, in addition to, yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I got confused by your answer.
Cool, yeah. With that, are there any other questions for this candidate? Seeing none, if you want to go ahead and take a step outside. We'll now be entering a period of discussion and debate by first raised placard. Senator Singleton.
They seem like they're doing a good job. Passed all my questions. Yeah, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Vega.
Motion to previous question. Go.
Is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of voting. Initially, candidates are voted on by secret ballot. Officer Eddington.
I motion to approve this candidate with unanimous consent. Are we allowed to do that?
Yes. Is there any dissent to the ratification of this candidate? Hearing none. You're ratified. And we'll clap in just a second.
We have no patience here.
I state your name.
I, Annalise,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
the
duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
We're gonna spend a day practicing on when to clap, and it's gonna be really good. But with that, we'll now be moving into old business with Lex 5530. These establishing term limits for university-wide elected positions within ASCSU. This legislation was vetoed, meaning instead of it passing by a majority vote, as we typically hold for legislation, it has to pass again by a supermajority. The way that this is going to work is that we're going to entertain it like it's in its final reading. So we'll first be entering a period of discussion debate, and then we'll be voting. So with that, we'll now be entering a period of discussion debate by first raised placard. Senator Corey.
Thank you. This is a point of information for the parliamentarian. Is it possible to amend the bill to make its effective date immediately, since the vetoing party appears to be running for re-election? Thanks.
I can answer that if that's okay. No, it is not. Once a piece of legislation is passed constitutionally, if it's vetoed, we just vote on the legislation as that was passed. So that would have to be a separate piece of legislation if you want. Does that answer that question?
It does, thank you.
Point of clarification, could the speaker provide information on the majority required to override a veto on a constitutional amendment?
First, I'm going to run through a couple of other things, namely that I have a speakers list. Make sure you're getting on the speakers list before you're speaking. Additionally, for points of information and points of clarification, those can be offered at any time because they're a privilege type of motion. So Hayden can also respond without being on the speakers list. When you're asking for clarification, or it's 2/3 rather than half. What? What are you asking, Jared?
It's 2/3. It's 3/4, not 2/3, because this is amending the Constitution. Oh, yeah.
Can you pull that up for me?
We're working these. This is the discussion, the big timer, since we didn't really enter it, kind of.
You can motion for it to be restarted, is something I would entertain.
Okay, I motion for the timer to be restarted and continued when we actually enter this.
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll do that. Hayden, do you know where that is? I believe in you.
All I remember is saying 2/3.
That is Article 11, Section 1101, subsection G. It says a 3/4 vote of the ASCSU Senate is required to override a presidential veto of a constitutional amendment.
So what I'm hearing is Jared McLaughlin called us bold out on Article 11 2 springs in a row. That's fire. Sounds good. 3/4 is what we're going with? Yeah, shut up. In a germane way. But with that, it's a 3/4 vote. That was my apologies. We're gonna start discussion debate by first raised placard. Senator Singleton.
All right, I still think that this is a good idea. I think that it makes sense to have a term limit for people who do this already. I think it's still a good idea. With that said, I'm not saying this of ill intent for anyone. I don't have any particular opinions against anyone or for anyone. I just think that in general this is a good idea and we should have this. I yield.
Thank you. Officer Eddington.
Hi everyone, I'm not in favor of this bill. I'm actually in favor of us voting to support the veto. Sometimes this procedural stuff gets so confusing. But I'll start by saying we already have soft term limits in the sense that we're gonna graduate. Nobody's here in perpetuity. I would then add that I don't think a singular term limit does as much for this organization as some people are assuming it will. I don't agree with a lot of the arguments that were made in favor of term limits when this was being presented. And I really stand against it. Actually, I think Jared, when we spoke about this last, made a really good point. When he said this really shouldn't be a decision that we make solely in this space. It should be a decision we put in the hands of the students themselves to say, will you make it? I realize that's a little silly as I'm holding the referenda bill in internal committee. I see how that's crazy. But I want answers to the referenda bill before we put it up. So yeah, vote to support the veto. I don't support term limits. I wouldn't support single term limits. I would actually be in favor of a 2-term term limit. But I just don't think the issues that have been posed about a lack of term limits rise to the threshold that some people are purporting them to, no shade. Also, just from my space and how I communicate with my constituents, like they also find a 1-term limit to be really restrictive for what people would be able to do in the role. Whether you can do a lot isn't really the question, it's whether you could do like the most possible, I think. So vote no, or vote yes veto. I'm still confused on that.
You would be voting no.
Vote
alignment with your opinion.
Vote no, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
yield.
Anytime. Senator Taylor.
I think that we've had lots of discussions on term limits the last few weeks. I do wish that the president was here to give his explanation of why he vetoed this, but since he is not, I move to a previous question.
Is there a second? Just as a point of clarification, we do have like 10 people on the speakers list. Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and do this by voice vote. All those in favor of moving the previous question, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Nay. Division, we're gonna do this by placard. All those in favor, please raise your placard.
I rescind my motion.
Thank you, Senator Taylor. Do you, Senator Taylor, do you yield? Or are you done?
Oh. Yeah, I yield.
Thanks. Chair Hill.
Hi, I'll keep this short. I know I've talked about this like when we were first debating on it. I think it's common sense. It's something that should be in our constitution anyway. You know, do we want to be raising a generation of career politicians? I don't know. I guess vote how you feel on that. Awesome. Adios.
Thank you. Chair Grenier.
I think it was Senator Corey who said this when we first had this, which is that there are not students that are just here for the 2 years that they might be in. Grad students can be president too, and grad students have an indeterminate amount of time at CSU. They go for their PhD, which could be up to 12 years here. I think it's a little irresponsible of us to not have some kind of safeguard in case we have an extant case of somebody attempting to do that. Furthermore, I've looked back and every time we've had a 2-term president, we have seen during that second election a sharp drop in voter turnout. We had a lot of stuff last year about trying to increase voter turnout and get more people to show up to the polls. I think that this would be a great way to do that because it encourages more people to run as there's no worry about an incumbent just sweeping the vote. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Rivera.
I was going to agree with Hayden's point. I just think we've been speaking about this and there's a lot on the agenda that we have to get through. So I would like to make a motion to previous question.
Second.
Hearing a second, is there any dissent?
Dissent.
Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and vote on this via voice vote again. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
I don't know why I tried again. Division, with that, all those in favor, please raise your placard.
Oh, damn. Just say you don't want me to talk.
I think we're saying. It's not personal.
I know
Okay, you guys can go ahead and put those down. All those opposed, please raise your placard. Awesome. Go ahead and put those down. Any abstentions? Phenomenal. With a vote of for a vote of 32 to 43, this passes, and we'll now be moving into a period of voting. Initially, final passage is through. Oh, this is. It's through something that we don't really want to do. I would entertain a motion for one of the other ones. Terminology.
Thank you, Speaker Reese. I would like to motion to vote via placard.
Is there any dissent to this means of voting? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote on it via placards. All those in favor of passage of this legislation, please raise them.
Point of clarification. Yeah. Can you clarify how we're doing this vote for me again? So if you vote,
So
if we vote
you're
now-
voting for the passage of this legislation. It's like it's in its last vote again.
Oh, it's just normal. Yeah. Oh,
Yay,
thank
term
you.
limits?
I'm
No,
so sorry.
no term limits. Phenomenal.
I've been going back and
You guys can go ahead and put those down. All of those opposed, please raise your placards. Thank you. Any abstentions?
Sorry, I was calculating. Abstentions, please. One more time, please.
Abstentions.
3, 4, 4.
So, that's definitely no right. Yeah, oh, right. Sorry, guys.
I have 32 total voters, 26 in favor, 6 opposed.
The impossible has been done. Term limits is repassed.
Information, what was the vote count on that?
26 to 6 to 4. So it'd be an 81% of the 75% needed. With that, we'll now be moving into new business, starting with our new order of things. Bill 5545, funding Camino's end of the year event.
You got it. You got it.
Bill 5545, funding Camino's end-of-year event. This bill allocates $2,500 to support Camino's Spring Leadership Conference, advancing college access, belonging, and equity for Latinx and Indigenous high school students. You have 10 minutes.
We would like to make some quick edits.
Unfortunately, the means of making edits would be just through committee.
Point of information, do they not have like the author's rights to edit it on their own?
Point of clarification, authors' rights aren't something that are codified within our documents, so the general practice that I've been facilitating under is that all edits for accessibility purposes must be presented either in committee or through committee of the whole. Committee of the whole can only be entertained during a piece of legislation's final reading unless it's expedited.
Caminos is a program that is partnered with El Centro, and
It was first founded on 2015, so it's been 11 years since. We are asking for 2,500 because for the final event of the year. Caminos is a program that helps Latino students and indigenous students that have been marginalized through advanced placement, as well as known as AP, IB, or just language barriers that sometimes are just not there. Just high schools that are not supporting their students enough and that are way behind their class. Just for discrimination, poverty, race, and many things. So what Camino does is a year-long program that inspires these students and it shows them that there is more after high school, because most of them are even first generation in high school, and for them getting that diploma is already enough. When that program shows them that they can get more, they can do more. Alright, so basically CSU students work for the program as mentors. It's a large amount, and some of these students that finish the program, some of them comes here, which it benefits the university. Some of them just go somewhere else, but the point here is that we're giving we're giving that opportunity to those students who need it. Thank you.
All right, I want to speak on some facts and questions that I was asked. So just to be transparent, this is not a bill coming from El Centro. Oh, let me clarify. This program does not come straightly out of El Centro. A student came to me and asked for us to create this bill. And I do want to state that Caminos is housed in the School of Education or the College of Education, so it is not housed through El Centro. We are collaborators, just like we are collaborators, just like El Centro collaborates with them, the education, the School of Education, as well as the Bohemian Foundation, and the financial institution. The only reason why Caminos is coming to us this year, and they hope that this is the last year that they do, is because the College of Education faced a funding cut. So there's no way they had to cut a program. They had to cut a program, and sadly it was Caminos. And then the Bohemian Foundation, just like how we've seen through federal levels, a lot of DEI programs are being cut. And this was another one of their grants that was cut halfway. So they are looking for other programs already. They tried BSOF, but sadly wasn't able to be successful. But they're trying to see if they can become a registered student organization for next year. But also, I just do want to clarify, like 55. Caminos also serves as a volunteer program, but they do have a stipend for students because they want to help not only high school students, but they also do want to help out college students at CSU. And oh yeah, we have served, every year we typically have 20 to 30 CSU students volunteer, mentor in these high schools, which is the Poudre High School and the Fort Collins High School. Yeah, I was like, if there's any, yeah, I'm gonna move on to Q&A.
Awesome, with that, we'll now be moving into a period of Q&A on this legislation by First Race Black Group. Chair McLaughlin.
All right. I already told you this, but unfortunately, since this bill is aimed at a group that is not CSU students, I have to be a bit more critical with it in my questioning. So I'll get started. Please describe the nature of the event being funded by this bill, the leadership something.
So I've actually been a part of Caminos. I served with Caminos for about 2 semesters. And typically what we do is on Mondays and Thursdays, we'll go to these high schools and we have lesson plans that we have to teach these students. So when it benefits a lot of students who are in the College of Education and who want to pursue that higher degree in becoming a teacher. But like me, I'm looking for volunteer opportunities and of course to like find different opportunities out there for me, while also kind of mirroring like what my life was in high school. And I think as a lot of first generation students here, we kind of understand those barriers, you know, of how it is and how we face them coming into higher education. So that's one of the things that we really do teach our students. And everything, like I said, is a lesson plan. And it all kind of adds up. And we do tell our students to create a project that we help out with. And at the end of the year, they do come to CSU and that's when they present it. And all the students who want to serve and who want to volunteer, who may have not participated during the program, but want to help out during the bigger event are welcome to. So it's open to all CSU students. But yeah, that's kind of what the program is. It's kind of a education plan throughout the semester, which then our biggest, like we aim to bring high school students to CSU to one, give them a tour, two, to have them present these projects, and then three, have students be able to ask us these like hard questions, and then also financial aid questions, and kind of just like better understand what higher education means.
Can you explain what specifically the event being funded by this bill is, not the program itself?
Yeah, I think the only reason I explained the program was because that's kind of like our end of the year celebration. So like I said, so students are asked to create a project and we'll build it with them during the semester. And then from there, they're invited to CSU for that specific day, which is the end of the year celebration. And we'll kind of like host them here. Like I said, we usually start off with decorating at 7 in the morning with CSU students, and then students arrive. And then from there, they're asked to pretty much like do an icebreaker with us, and then we kind of start engaging with them. And then that's when we kind of do like gallery walkthrough about their projects, and they like speak up on them. And stuff like that. And then from there, we kind of take them out to lunch, and we give them a tour during that time. And then after we come back, they have the time for a student panel. And then we kind of have a closing circle, because some of these students might come back and sometimes they don't if they're graduating high school. Does that answer your question?
Yes. So this event takes place on CSU's campus?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Next question, how does this event directly benefit students at Colorado State University?
So this event benefits them just by reminding us what was like and just to like keep going. A lot of students from CSU that have mentor already have go to the director and tell them I would have not graduated if I hadn't done this. Like if I hadn't mentored these people, if I hadn't done this program, if I wasn't there. Just because it keeps inspiring them, because things get hard here, things get lonely here. And we sometimes forget all this struggle we have to go through to be here, and we just want to give up. And programs like this just remind us that all of that was worth it, and that we're here and that we gotta keep going.
And then we also have written statements from students who've gone through this program. And I hope these students they wanted to come this week, but due to some stuff they weren't able to. but I think they will be coming, if it passes, for the second reading to kind of like talk on their stories and what this program was about. I mean, I can highly talk about this program because I did it through college, and it's kind of like I said, it's kind of a mirror. Like I'm looking back at my younger self, and I can really relate to these students. So I think one, it kind of teaches me how to keep going, because I'm like, if these students can keep pursuing higher education, then I can too. And especially with like being in a predominantly white institution, you know, you kind of forget a lot of things, and it kind of is super hard to walk sometimes in these halls. But when you know what you're doing it for and you know what the purpose is, it kind of really does create an impact. And I think it's an impact that you can't relate to if you aren't a part of this program, or just speak to these students. And I highly do recommend everyone, when this event happens, funded by ASCSU or funded through other ways, I really do hope y'all come and volunteer, because these students really do impact you and just touch your heart, because I know this is why I'm going to keep fighting. And like I said, if it isn't passed through ASCSU, then I'll find another way for these students.
Cool, almost done. How many CSU students and how many community members participate in this event? A rough estimate, very rough estimate is fine.
Um, 20 to 30 students usually serve a semester, Caminos every year.
Cool, and then last question, under the line item budget, what does student recognition and awards entail?
So, like I said, El Centro donates a few items. So like I said, we kind of allow students to present their projects, and then students vote together and like nominate who they believe like had one of the best projects that semester. And I know y'all might have seen us at ASCSU last semester asking for little things that we can give out in like pouches and stuff like this for students. So that's kind of what like the rewards are, and yeah.
All right, thank you.
Point of clarification, point of information, excuse me. You said 20 to 30 students participate in this, like 20 to 30 CSU students are participating to work this, or 20 to 30 high school students participate in the event? Could you clarify that?
Yes, it's 20 to 30 students, and we typically have over 70 to 90 high schoolers. So 20 to 30 CSU students, and then 70 to 90 high schoolers, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Senator Garnand.
Hi. Jared asked most of the questions that I had, but I know you mentioned that you had a stipend program through Caminos. Could you talk a bit more on how that works for high school students and CSU students?
Yeah, so the stipend program is only for CSU students. It's something that Caminos has always ran on. They believe that students shouldn't be doing work for free, and I think I actually have a note on this. I think one of the biggest things of why they made the stipend was because through history we've seen that many marginalized parents or families have always had to work for less or almost nothing. So honoring those voices of students who have to work 3 jobs, while also volunteering is why we do it. We usually give $100 to students, to every CSU student who works. It sometimes goes up to $300 if they're doing a lot more hours. But $100 helps cover some groceries, and I know it's something that a lot of students benefit from. So I know when talking to the director, they said that that's funding that they do not want to touch because that impacts CSU students only. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it did. Before I ask my next one, I'd like to motion to add 5 minutes to the timer. Second.
Give me a second. Is there any dissent? Hearing none, that'll be reflected.
And then my last question, I know you said you went to BSOF. Are there any other groups that you have currently gone to, or what are the other ones that you're currently looking at, if you don't mind me asking?
What other funding resources do they?
They're using Ground Funder, Denver Partnership.
There's specific grants that they do.
There is a specific grants that they're looking at. But they're like really competitive, and it's really hard to like really get them. I will say that it's really hard mostly because it's not a common program. It's not something that is like everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Singleton.
All right, I think my biggest question is, sorry if you've already touched on this, but you brought up that it had to do with projects, where the students would come in and present on a project that they've been working on. This project, is it something that they chose themselves, or is it something that is like a pre-defined thing that Caminos wants to see the student work on?
Sorry, can you repeat the last end of your question?
I was mostly just wondering if it's like a topic that they have a lot of interest in, like STEM or like liberal arts or things like that, or if it's more based in like a specific thing that they want to see the student working on.
It's a little bit of both. It's something that, of course, they love, and it's really cool because their projects are very unique to them. Some of them make them through art, some of them make them through writing, and it's kind of just like what they want to do. But like I said, we have lesson plans that we have to do, and then we teach it to the student, and then from there the student kind of gathers a portfolio for the end of the semester, and that's when they like put everything together. So it's kind of everything that they've learned into one single piece, if that answers your question.
I think so. All right, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Simpson.
I'd like to yield to Sophia to ask a question.
Hi. My question is just how CSU is predicted, I think, in the next 3 years to become, from a primarily white serving institution to become a Hispanic serving institution. And as a Latina, I am very invested in creating that reality where we have a place of higher education that is serving marginalized voices. And I want to know the impacts of how this program helps cultivate that on our campus and increases the Latino population on our campus and increases first-gen Hispanics on our campus and serves them.
So issues, it increases not just in our campus, but in many others that are primarily white. As a first-gen Latina that had to gone through a lot to get here, and people saying like, just get a job. I know how hard it is to walk here, to go into a class and not seeing one color face. I know how important it is, that feeling of belonging. So that will be what we're trying to do with this program. What this program is trying to do is just show them that there's more ways. That there is indeed a way that you can go. That it's not just get a job. It's not just, well, just go back to your country. No, it's more than that. It's more, it's like you are able to take that AP class that you wanted. You don't have to be behind. Why are you taking freshman classes as a senior when you have the knowledge? Because of language barriers, that should not be happening. Not in this moment when we need it the most. So it is very important to fund this program, just because it will give us a opportunity to keep growing in higher education.
And then I had one other question. You mentioned,
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
I should add 5 more minutes to the timer.
Any dissent? Hearing none, Kaluuya.
so you mentioned Bohemian Foundation was involved. I just wanted a little bit more information on what that was about and how that changed and how that affected the program.
So the Bohemian Foundation was the foundation that we had most of our grant from, but due to everything that I said previously, like federally, like everything's being defunded. So really receiving money is super critical, and I think something that was also told to me, and a few of our senators here too, was that for 10 years that they were doing well, you know. I was there last year. It was a beautiful moment, and then this year happened, and it was like down. Like, what do we do? Where do we start from? You know, like this has never been an issue. We always knew who to reach out to, and now it's like we're kind of below zero, you know. But we still want to make this happen, so we'll figure out a way, you know. And like I said, the Bohemian Foundation is still helping us in some way, but it's not enough this year. But we are working together to ensure that we're in a more secure space next year. But because this was so last minute and the funding just wasn't there, like we thought it was going to be there, and then it wasn't going to be there. That's why we're kind of just searching for money as of right now.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Associate Senator Brad.
Hi. So you mentioned, excuse me, sorry, Indigenous students in your bill. How will you guys provide outreach and collaboration? Because, yeah, I just want to.
Indigenous students are still students of color, are still students going through discrimination for their race, the way they look, the place that they come from, their families. Everybody just assumes that you come from a place of poverty or that you're not smart enough. So they just place you in these classes that aren't teaching you anything. They tell you, you cannot go to this IB because you probably will not just pass. And what this program does is exactly the same thing that does to Latino students. It provides the same support. It provides the same benefits. And it just, again, it just shows them that there is a way. I have met a lot of Indigenous students here. And they have told me their experience. It was not easy. It was not easy to get those scholarships. It was not easy to come here because nobody gave them those resources. Nobody tried to be there for them. It's just the same situation. It doesn't matter if you are Latino, if you're Indigenous, if you're a person of color in this country, in this moment, you need this.
Thank you. As an Indigenous First Nations person myself, I do understand. Just to clarify my question though, how will you guys collaborate with like outreach to First Nations communities here, the community centers, the Native American Cultural Center, etc.?
Yeah, so something that we really do is we have students from every background come to, and support with these events, and then something that we do here especially when they come to CSUs, we kind of present them what the cultural resource centers are. Of course, I lack some knowledge of like when they can start reaching out to these cultural resource centers, but they do, like, I think something that we've seen a lot of students face when they come into CSU is not knowing that these cultural resource centers exist, and not knowing that they're being represented within this institution. And I think that's something that we really are trying to like break the barrier with, you know, like you do have a space here at CSU, you do have a home, and like previously, like what our associate senator said, like those barriers are very much there and you still face them here, you know, but trying to show them what that community can look like at CSU is something that we're really trying to fight for, to ensure that students find a home within CSU and not like other colleges, you know. And since they've been like a part of Senator.
How many more people are on the speakers list?
Grand total of 0.
Cool. And I guess I have motion to add 2 minutes to the clock.
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll do that. But yeah, I think it's just pretty much the resources that we've been searching for. And of course, we would love to collaborate with more cultural resource centers, but I think there's sometimes this fear of like giving too much information out, and especially with everything that we've been dealing with, and a lot of our students are immigrant students. So I remember last year we weren't even able to bring them to campus due to that fear. So we're kind of trying to pivot this way of like what information we can start giving out other like cultural resource centers or other organizations within campus. But it's kind of a very difficult time sometimes. But we would love any support or any help that we can receive.
Thank you so much. That answered my question perfectly. And let us know if you guys need any help or collaboration.
Thank you.
I yield my time.
Thank you, Annette. Does anyone else have anything else they'd like to ask on this piece of legislation? Seeing none, this will be sent to Budgetary Affairs, University Affairs, and DEI. We'll now be moving into the next piece of legislation, Bill 5540, funding the CSU Lavender Cabinets.
Hello, hello, beautiful people. So, I will be cheering for this. Can I have someone as parliamentarian just for a minute?
Oh my gosh.
Esteban, I'm sorry.
Do I get to read it out?
Yes. Title, the abstract, and then once you're ready.
Information, how much time do we have on the confidence clock?
I can answer that. We have 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 21 seconds. Title, the abstract, and then set this timer for 10 minutes. Yep. That's all she said.
Bill 5540, funding the CSU Lavender Cabinet. Abstract. This bill aims to allocate $7,500 from the Senate Discretionary Fund to the Lavender Cabinet for the 2026 spring-summer semesters. This cabinet serves all students by providing gender-affirming garments, hygiene products, and more.
You have 10 minutes. Yeah.
You have 10 minutes.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Angel Hernandez. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I've been with the Pride Resource Center now for about 2 years as an associate and now a senator. But yeah, for those of you, I'll let my colleague introduce himself as well.
I'm Blake Simpson. For those of you that I have not met yet, I'm the senator for the Pride Resource Center. I use he, him pronouns.
So the Lavender Cabinet is in the Pride Resource Center, and basically it provides a lot of different resources for any and all students. But mainly it deals with gender-affirming garments, hygiene products, period products, first aid products, HRT support items, harm reduction tools, and more. And so just to give a little bit of the precedence of this bill and how ASCSU has funded it, we've received $39,400 in total from ASCSU since 2021, with approximately $12,000 in 2021, $20,000 in 2023, and $7,000 last year. So on average, in a fiscal and academic year, so from July to June, we spend about $7,000, but through ASCSU, we've received closer to $10,000 per fiscal year. Before 2021, from 2021 2019 to 2021, we were using savings funds, which were limited. So now we're looking for, other sources of funding. But also just to describe like the impact that the Lavender Cabinet has had. We've purchased 2,000 items for the LabCab. That's how you say it for short, LabCab. Through these funds since 2021. So that is 2,000 different examples of something provided to a student and something that they were in need of. And receiving the funding has grown our capacity to serve students. We went from 92 items in 2019 to 2020 to now 604 items in 2024 through 2025. So that's a 700% increase from the first year of the Lavender Cabinet to last year's inventory. Our most popular items, I got some questions about this in emails, so this is just some background information and it will be added into committee and the warehouse clauses. But our most popular items are chest binders, and we spent about $17,000 on that, which accounts for 45% of the funds we've received. And then our next top items are gonna be trans tape oil, hygiene products, books, tucking underwear, tucking kids, packing boxers, makeup, books, etc. So this is important to note that the above inventory is just what ASCSU has contributed to, but we've had to obviously supplement with funding cuts, and funding is tough everywhere. So we also supplement our LabCap with hygiene products, two times a year, donation drives 2 times a year, health network items such as like harm reduction items, fundraisers, which we did last year when we partnered with Chipotle, which was pretty successful. Pride funds when that's available from the Pride Resource Center, financial donations, and regular item donations from people who no longer need those items. Yeah, I'll pass it on to Blake.
So who really uses this Lavender Cabinet? Like the rest of Pride, it is entirely open to all students here. We don't ask information of anybody going in to use the Lavender Cabinet. We often have students who have been referred to us by the other CRCs, like ALVS, and as well as Basic Needs, Health Network, and more. While we don't have an exact number of participants that we serve, because we don't track that or ask them to provide information, so while we don't have an exact number and we don't ask all CSU students how they identify their sexual orientation and gender identity, we can make inferences from national assessments. In the 2022 National Survey of Student Engagement, about 30% of CSU's respondents identified as LGBTQ+, and about 4% of CSU respondents identified as trans or gender expansive. And in the 2023 National College Health Assessment, 43% of CSU respondents identified as LGBTQIA+, or questioning, and 13% of CSU's respondents identified as trans, non-binary, or gender expansive. That is about double the national average for LGBTQIA plus identifying people, and about 3 times the national average for trans identifying people at our university.
So just with those statistics, it's pretty clear that students are choosing to move not only to Colorado, but specifically Colorado State University to escape other states with anti-trans and anti-queer legislation. We're seeing students move from states like Texas, Florida, and more specifically to enroll at Colorado State University. And so when they visit the Pride Resource Center, the Lavender Cabinet is one of the things that they point to as a reason why they're choosing to enroll at the university specifically. In addition to gender inclusive housing, LGBTQ plus care at the Health Network, and of course the Pride Resource Center. So I feel like as ASCSU, if we could find a way through directly increase student engagement, student involvement, and student enrollment with passing a bill, I think we should definitely act on it. Passing this bill would definitely contribute to that. Students are coming to CSU for Pride Resource Center for LabCap. So I think, yeah, we should act on that. And then Blake is just going to share some testimonials on some students' behalf and how it's benefited them.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd just like to share some anonymous testimonials that we got about the Lavender Cabinet. One student told us, "The Lab Cab is my safe space. I can't afford my general hygiene items, and it's a lifesaver." Another student told us they've been able to explore their identity and be more of themselves at CSU because of items that they found in the lavender cabinet. And a third student told us, I couldn't get these items by myself and I can't transition because I have unsupportive parents, but I can use items in the lavender cabinet to get me through until I graduate. So it's very clear that this is having a real impact on our students. I believe that's all we have.
Excellent, thank you.
Sorry, point of personal privilege. Could you please scroll down to the part where it breaks down the cost? Thank you. I yield.
Excellent. I would also remind, this is also available in the ASCSU newsletter should you all want personal things on your devices. With that, however, we'll now move into a 10-minute period of Q&A beginning after I'm done with the first raised placard. I think, Associate Senator Pendleton's up first, and I'll begin making a list.
Thank you. I was just going to ask you, what specific benefits does the LabCab have? LabCab have for both cis and trans students? I know you touched on this already, but I would just like you to go in more detail.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you so much. So it's obviously not restricted to any students or any groups of people. We do carry a lot of trans-specific stuff like binders, trans tape, and oils, but we also carry general hygiene products, toothpaste, mouthwash, soap, just stuff that everybody needs and anybody can come grab from the lavender cabinet.
Of course, thank you, and I yield.
Excellent, thank you. Officer Eddington.
Hi, really good bill, really good speech. I'm getting emotional over here, and I've been to war, so sorry. My question is, maybe this is, and cut me off, Gio, if this isn't a good question or this isn't the venue for it. This is a really good program that could affect all students on campus. I wonder how you get the word out to the most students possible that this exists so they can utilize it. Is that a good question? Okay.
I mean, assuming that this is in reference to the additional funding that is being used, I'd say, yeah, how do you plan to market it? Yeah.
We haven't specifically made a plan for it. It's already, there's already information available on the Pride Resource website, and it states everybody is welcome. But yeah, I don't think it's something we've considered much, but it's definitely something we'll take into consideration, and I'll be in contact with ASCSU leadership. That way we can find out how to get the word out about this and yeah, help people get their hands on LabCab stuff. Yeah.
Point of clarification. I would also like to say that primarily it is spread through word of mouth. But yeah, I yield.
And Blake has something to add.
As well, kind of like what Associate Senator Pendleton was saying, it's spread through word of mouth. Like we said, we get a lot of people coming saying that they were referred by other CRCs or other groups and organizations on campus.
Okay, I'd like to yield to ex officio Nevaeh for a question.
I have a clarification actually for your question. They also have makeup and a lot of resources. They have little booklets all the time. Like if you've ever been in the Safe Center and they have those safe sex pamphlets, Pride has those too. They also have books and pretty much anything if you're an ally and you want to know more about the queer experience, they're always there. And if you just want to check it out, they don't ask you to show your gay or trans card. They don't care. You can just pop in there. It really doesn't matter.
I've always been asked for.
Thank you. Senator Singleton?
Yeah, my question was very similar to Senator Eddington's question about, Officer Eddington's question about how you do more research. I know I have a lot of trans friends that don't know that this option exists, and they're spending a lot of their own money to be able to become more affirmed with themselves. So yeah, that's one of the things. And then my other question was, since money is getting tighter. I'm just wondering, how did you get to the total amount of $7,500 compared to previous years, where I know it was either higher or lower?
So those previous years where it was higher, funded for multiple years consecutively, this would only fund for this upcoming year essentially. And we came to this number by, it's the average we spend in a fiscal year to supply the lab cab.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I yield, thank you.
Thank you. Chair McLaughlin?
Just to give some context to that, in the 52nd Senate, we passed a bill allocating $20,000 to the Lavender Cabinet across 2.5-ish fiscal years. My question for y'all is, who is the financially responsible person for the Lavender Cabinet? I have some questions for them.
That would be the director of the Pride Resource Center, which is Maggie, who's seated back there. So we could yield to them back there, if that's how that works.
It's not a question for the floor, just something else.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Garnett?
Awesome. First, a point of clarification to Officer Eddington's point. They also have resources out in the Pride Resource Center's newsletter, so that's another way of getting the word of mouth out. But for my question, it kind of goes off of Senator Singleton's. Would you and your constituents be willing to lower those requested funds due to the Senate discretionary fund reaching kind of its limit?
We would be open to discussing it, but as I said, $7,500 is what it costs about to run it for a year. And so if we ask for less, we will be coming back sooner and asking for more money again.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I also think it's important to note, like, when you look at just the average of what we've actually received from ASCSU, we've received on average $10,000 per fiscal year. So this kind of is already us taking it a step down from what we've asked for historically, but yeah, we would be open to discussing it.
Thank you so much, I yield.
Thank you. Senator and Vice Chair Bone?
Hi, I first want to start off by saying I am in total support of this bill. I do have a few questions though. So this is for next year's, like, supply for the Lavender Cabinet, correct?
It would be like for this academic year, basically. So just the funding we would get, we would immediately invest it and use it.
So it would be used for the remainder of this spring 2026 semester.
And for summer. For the summer semester of 2026.
Okay, on that note, this kind of is the same question that Killian asked, but I think it possibly could be a good idea. I don't have full knowledge of when the new discretionary budget comes in, but I know you said you would consider it, but would you consider like asking for a lower amount right now and then getting more funding later when we have the means to do so? Because I think all of us are very much in support of this and would like to give you the money. It's just we're in a little bit of a sticky situation.
If I might provide a point of clarification, that sticky situation will likely not go away next year. My take on this is, if you would vote for this bill when we had $100,000 in our fund, I think you should vote for it now. Otherwise, like, don't change your opinion just because we have a lower amount in our fund right now.
I agree with that, and I am in favor of this bill. My concern is just that it is at the end of the discretionary, like, you get what I'm saying? And my concern is that if there are other pressing needs that come up in the remainder of this year when we are very limited because we've used stuff already, my concern is that we might not have the means to, like, address other issues as they come up, because we know this is a thing and we know that we do want to support this. But yes, that's all. Thank you. I yield.
Point of information, or clarification, sorry. How many people are in the speakers list?
We have about 4 persons on the speakers list.
I don't.
Okay, sorry. With that, we'll move on to Senator Corey.
Thank you. Your bill indicates that hormone replacement therapy is to be distributed. Generally, that's distributed to patients through a healthcare professional or pharmacist. Am I reading the bill wrong?
I believe you may be reading the bill wrong. I don't believe this bill, this lavender cabinet, has anything to do with hormone replacement therapy. It provides gender-affirming garments and other resources and HRT support items, not directly HRT, because obviously that would be a prescription-only thing. We wouldn't be able to give that out even if we wanted to. But other things that can help out, like, for example, a good one is Sharps containers is something that they have there. A lot of trans people have to take their hormones as injections. Sharps containers are not cheap, I can tell you. I worked in pharmacy for 3 years. They are
I
ridiculously
motion
expensive.
to add 4 minutes to the timer.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, let that be reflected, or we'll give our parliamentarian just a little bit.
All right, thanks for that clarification. Just a follow-up question. I understand why you don't request ID from people, that makes sense. But is there a concern that perhaps minors could get access to some of this, parents find out about it, it becomes a controversy and a problem? Is that something you're worried about?
I don't think that's something that's ever came up at all, ever. So I don't have any concern for it. Yeah.
I also think in that situation, the question wouldn't be why does the lavender cabinet have these things? The question would be why was a minor unattended and not with their parents on CSU campus?
All right, thank you. No further questions, I yield.
Thank you. With that, we'll move to Chair Hill.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Have y'all attempted to reach out with other like nonprofits or tried to get grant funding for the funding of the Lavender Cabinet? Like, do y'all have any anticipated other sources of income for this besides ACSU?
Yeah, kind of like I was mentioning earlier, we've done like various fundraisers. We're not working specifically with any grants, but like, yeah, we're looking into financial donations, regular donations, fundraisers, the health network items, and just pride funds if we have any. So we're definitely looking for funding elsewhere, but not specifically nonprofits or grants.
Awesome, I yield.
Thank you. We'll move back to Senator Singleton.
Thank you. One of my other questions is, I saw with your sunset date, is there a particular reason why you chose that specific date? I just know that it sometimes is meant to be a fiscal, right, Jared? End of the fiscal year.
Yes.
Okay.
I just looked at the last LavCab bill that was passed and moved the data by the amount of years that it's been since then, because the last LavCab was also passed around this time of year, the last time it was brought forward.
I'm so sorry, there's a little commotion. Could you repeat yourself?
I just took the date that was on the last Lavender Cabinet bill that went through the Senate, and I just moved it up by the amount of years that it's been since then.
Okay, cool. I'm sure it'll be changed, so that's all I yield.
Excellent. Chair Rivera.
I think Chair Hill asked the question that I wanted to ask, but I'm in support of this bill. I've seen the impact that it has on students, and I know coming as an admissions ambassador from the school, we've seen a lot of students talk about this, so I am in favor, but I would really like to see it be fully funded, so it's never like a worry to any student that there might not be something in the lavender closet that they might use, but I am in huge favor, and I've heard a lot of positive things about it. I yield.
Excellent. We have no one else remaining on the speakers list unless anyone would like to say no. Forever hold your peace. With that, this bill will be sent to the Budgetary Affairs Committee, University Affairs Committee, and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Affairs Committee. I know I took the speakership in this instance because Brooke was considered an endorser and to be a conflict of interest. I don't see her back yet.
You want me to grab her?
If this chamber would mind.
I do.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be speaker for a little longer, but.
And I'd love to be parliamentarian.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Can I stand up there? No, I'm just kidding. Would we entertain for 2 recess? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, with that, let us move on to, if I have the order correct, Lex 5538, ASCSU renaming of the students of the wait, no, I got this wrong. This is LSAB. This is LSAB. Lex 5542, LSAB Lex. If the author would like to come back.
Lex 5542. Abstract. This Lex aims to mitigate the inconsistencies of prior edits to the LSAP bylaws that have yet to be reflected in the ASCSU Constitution. This Lex additionally passes a new and improved version of the LSAP bylaws. You have 10 minutes.
Sorry, it appears there was an error. It doesn't pass the bylaws. That'll be made in committee. There's a separate bill for that, sorry. But I feel like this one's pretty basic. I don't want to take too much of your time. Basically, there were a lot of edits that were made constitutionally in the past couple of years, and
Point of personal privilege, when we're presenting legislation, can we have silence in the chamber? No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah, there's been a lot of edits to the Constitution that have been made in the past couple of years that haven't actually made it to the Constitution, which is like not very great. And so I noticed those after going through the LSAP bylaws when I was doing my internal processes. I had noticed that there were edits made in 2023 and also edits made last year that were actually put through in a Lex and voted on by the Senate that are not in our Constitution for some reason. So I'm just making this edit to, reflect all of those. And also since we've been operating off of that version, it makes sense.
Excellent. With that, we'll now move into a 10-minute period of Q&A, beginning with the first raised placard. Okay. Oh, Chair Rivera.
Hi, would you be open to creating or editing for future bylaws of adding UA as like a collaborator or a co-chair for this?
I think the door for collaboration is frankly always open. If there's legislation that wants to be seen by LSAP, or if UA wants LSAP to take a certain stance on something or be invited to their to their committee and vice versa, I'm always open to collaboration, frankly. Regarding the composition, sorry, words are just not here anymore. Regarding the composition of the board, I think I'm just kind of on the fence on that, honestly, just because we haven't seen many edits made to the composition of the board in previous years, and the only edit was to increase for at-large student representation, which I really prioritize. And so I don't know, I'm just really on the fence on that aspect. But yeah, I mean, the legislative branch has seats that are it's not open anymore, but the legislative branch has seats to make sure that the legislative branch is represented. And so, yeah.
If there anyone else that would wish to speak at this time? Or actually, can you yield?
I yield.
Excellent. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing that, let us send this to, let's say, Internal Affairs and UA, University Affairs. Thank you. Keeping right along, let's move into Resolution 5543. No. 5541, ratification of the LSAP bylaws. I appreciate your patience at this time. Thank you.
1 second, please.
Bill 5541, abstract, this bill ratifies the LSAP bylaws. You have 10 minutes.
We're ratifying bylaws, y'all. I added the new bylaws and the old bylaws just so you can see the edits that I made. The new bylaws also have the edits tracked, so you'll be able to see the edits that I made as well. But low-key, the old bylaws were not it. Like just the language and just the way they were organized, it was just like very difficult to understand like what LSAP does, how we work, all of that stuff for the average student, in my opinion. I'm also looking to make sure that the LSAP bylaws are put on our website like they should be. So really just trying to increase transparency and awareness of the operations. And in order to do that, I have to have a bylaws that actually make sense in the way they're ordered, and also the language. There was like spelling errors, things that don't make sense, like just kind of terrible. With respect, because I think a lot of like had I not had that basis, I wasn't able to make them how they are now. So yeah.
Thank you. With that, we'll now move into a 10-minute period of Q&A, beginning with the first raised placard. Seeing none, let's send this purely to Internal Affairs. Thank you. Now, okay, let's try this one more time. If I have it right. Lex 5538, ASC issue renaming of the students of the Oval Caucus.
Lex 5538, renaming and redefining the student of the Oval Caucus. Abstract. This resolution aims to rename the students of the Oval Caucus to Community Action Caucus to establish a clearer, more actionable purpose for the student body, or excuse me, for the body, and to better its visibility and engagement. You have 10 minutes.
Hey y'all, so great to see all of y'all. This Lex is pretty straightforward, just trying to rename it so it's clear and it's very clear about what this caucus does, and just generally redefine it, breathe new life into it, and make sure that students know what actually we do. And it also follows the naming theme of all of our caucuses. So yeah, let's go into Q&A.
That's my line. All right, with that, let's go into Q&A. Here's 10 minutes, starting with the first raised placard after I'm done talking. Senator Singleton.
Sorry, Gio. My question is, what made you choose the new name? What in particular, made you choose that?
I chose this name mostly because I feel like it more exemplified and embodied a lot of what the caucus itself is meant to do. I think it, as stated in my lovely presentation, follows the more naming theme of the various caucuses we have. Like, our accessibility caucus is about accessibility. Our housing caucus is about housing. So I feel like following that general naming theme and making sure it's clear about, hey, we're about getting community action. That's what we are as a caucus is sort of about.
Cool, makes sense, I yield.
Excellent. With that, Associate Senator Pendleton.
Can I yield my time already and be put on the speakers list again for the last position? Sorry.
Is there anyone in particular you want to yield to?
What?
Oh, it was already next on the
Yes,
speakers
that's
list, so if
it.
you yield just normally.
I just yield and then.
Perfect. Hi, Enoch. Real quick, I just have a couple of clarifying questions for you in regards to this. So, is the student of the Oval Caucus already known by name,
particularly well? And if so, will changing the name of this inherently mean that you guys have to quote unquote market it under a new name, and will that inherently be necessary? And if so, how do you plan to do that?
So while I do have an Instagram and a TikTok that you all should be following for this lovely caucus, because you love community action, looking at my attendance both as the chair from last semester and this semester of students who are not in ASCSU, no, it is not well known. So I feel like changing the name is an attempt to rectify that issue and make it more better well known for students. And before you ask, yes, I will be changing the handles of this Instagram and the TikTok.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for answering my quick question. I yield.
Point of information really quickly on that note. As vice chair, I can say there have been multiple caucus meetings where it has just been me and Enoch. And I think the most I've seen us have is 3 people, including me and Enoch. So not even ASCSU, like Senate body, anybody, members come and really know what we do. So I think this is really necessary.
Point of further clarification, the highest number I've seen attend caucus has been like 5.
I would like to move for an expedited bill.
I recognize you. Do I hear a second to that?
Second.
Very well. Hearing a second. Off the top of my head, let's do this through placard vote to expedite. All persons in favor, please raise your placard.
I didn't expect this.
Please put them down. All those opposed, please raise your placards. Seeing none, any abstentions? Thank you, put them down. With a vote of 17 to 0 to 2, let this piece of legislation be expedited. Now, if I have the procedural thing right, we still have a period of Q&A, unless you'd like to motion out of that and go into our discussion and debate period.
I would like to motion for exhaustive speakers list to exhaust the speakers list. Is that right?
Point of clarification, or maybe it's a point of information. We just did Q&A, so I thought we would go into a period of discussion and debate.
For clarification's sake, in our period of Q&A, Associate Senator Pendleton motioned to expedite this legislation. We did, however, not motion out of Q&A. However, there is no one left on the speakers list, so if no one else wants to speak, since we have one person who wants to speak, we still technically have that remaining period of Q&A. Then, in recognizing it's an expedited piece of legislation, we would go into about a half hour of discussion and debate before we vote on it finally. If that clears things up.
Point of clarification, I was mostly raising my placard to say that I motion for us to move to the next, to move to debate.
Second.
That was not a motion. That's okay.
Sorry, my bad.
Okay, so the proper way we can do this is move the previous question, but also if no one does anything, there's no one after Jack, so we just move into discussion and debate anyway.
Sounds good. Yeah, I was just going to motion to.
All right. So just yield back to me.
Yield, I yield.
Excellent, okay. In recognition of this legislation's new expedited status, let's move into a half hour of discussion and debate, beginning with the first raised placard. Senator and Vice Chair Bone.
I think that we have all the, in my professional opinion, I saw that there were other speakers on the list, but I think we have all the information we need for this, and I do not think we need to use 30 minutes to discuss or debate this because it is getting kind of late, but I yield to, can I motion to exhaust the speakers list and then?
You can also just move to the previous question if you want.
Can I move to previous question?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, Is there any dissent to moving the previous question and going into voting? Excellent, hearing none, unless someone wants to specify another method of voting. Senator and Vice Chair Bone.
I motion to ratify? Not ratify. I motion for unanimous consent to be used for voting.
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, let Lex 5538 ASCSU renaming of the students of the Oval Caucus be passed.
I was not expecting this. Anyway, I'm still here though. That spills mine. This was an unexpected turn.
Hey, great job being parliamentary.
Awesome, with that, we'll now be moving into Bill 5539, the back commencement ceremony. We'll now be reading the abstract.
Bill 5539, BAACC Commencement Ceremony. This bill aims to allocate $3,000 to help the Black African American Cultural Center, parentheses BAACC, end of year celebration. You have 10 minutes.
All right, yeah. I kept it short. I kept it very simple. We only are asking for $3,000 to help hold this event. It's a very important event to students, students of color, Black students particularly, and those across the African diaspora. It's a moment where they can celebrate their moments of higher education, something that, historically has been constantly been put down and also has historically been our only way of trying to self-improve ourselves within this country and within the greater world as is. So that's why I'm trying to get some funding to help celebrate this moment, and also with the recognition that the back office is also one of the CRCs that is facing, budget cuts. So there's limits to how much money we can spend. So trying to alleviate that pressure here is something we can do. And for the most part, most of the money is going towards the schools. We can do Q&A now.
That's my job. Now we are entering a period of Q&A by first raised placard. Senator Johnson.
Hey, Doc, you said for the most part towards stalls. What's the other part?
All right, so $2,500 are going towards the stalls. That's basically the bulk. The $500 is to just help with getting the venue covered and handled, because it is an in-person ceremony event.
Thanks, Enoch. IU.
Thank you. Officer Eddington.
There's not a breakdown of the money on the bill. Why is that?
All right, originally, when I sent this to Jared, love Jared, I did have two separate whereas clauses breaking down how the money was going to be broken down. When I received that back from Jared, it was unified into one, and because I trust our budgetary chair to handle money, I decided to unify it.
A point of chair, which it is. I told Enoch to do that because if we specify breakdowns in the therefore clauses, that becomes binding, which means that if we specified only $500 for Stoles, they could only spend $500, even if, for example, the other costs were lower and they went to shift money to Stoles. So it's just to give the back office more flexibility.
Thank you, Ariel.
Thank you, Associate Senator Beerston.
Hi there. This is primarily a point of information, but how much funding have we allotted to back in years past, if we have at all?
All right, to my knowledge, I want to say not a lot. At least when I have been here, we have not allocated any money, and I've been here since the 52nd, so. But I'd have to go back and ask our director and or Dwayne, because he was also director of BAC, if we have asked money from this body before. Dwayne, do you got those answers?
Additionally, if you are personally interested in the author, and I can also look into getting that information, the ASCSU archives in the library are an accessible means of gathering that information, as well as the legislative binder is currently available in my office.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Rivera.
How many people are on the speakers list?
One after you.
Oh, okay. I see the importance of cultural regalia, and I support this bill fully. Yeah, if it's only one person, then that's me.
Thank you. Chair Hill.
I promise this will be quick. I'm just gonna ask the same question that I asked the Lavender Cabinet, which is, have you reached out to any other nonprofit organizations, or trying to get grant funding, or any other source of funding, or?
All right, yeah, this is, I've talked to our director about this, and for the most part, we're pretty self-sufficient as an office when it comes to our money. So us coming here is like, hey, this is just something with last resort, because we already have I'm pretty sure we still have a partnership with Coca-Cola. And I haven't seen it since last year, but but we do have other sources of funding, and this is probably going to be a one-time thing. Fingers crossed we don't lose more money. And I will yield to President Nunley, or did he have a question?
President Nunley, did you have an additional point or question that you wanted to ask, or are you looking to give a point of information clarification?
Point of information.
Then I will let him do his speak.
Okay. I was going to say that I think that this is great. Thank you for doing this, Enoch, and that I wanted to share that the actual stoles are coming from Ghana, and so the shipping costs are included in that. And it was actually it's actually heavily rooted in tradition for back that this happens, and it was actually a connection that a previous director, Bridget Johnson, made for that connection from Ghana to occur for these stoles. And so holding all those things is true. I echo Enoch that I don't believe that we've had many partnerships from the Senate space, allocating money. I know that Exec has partnered with BAC on a few different initiatives in years past. But aside from that, I think that this is great. So once again, thank you, Enoch, and those two pieces of what I wanted to add. Thank you all.
Perfect, I yield. And if anyone, I motion a previous question as well.
You're the last person on the speakers list, but with that, do we hear, is there a second to?
Second.
Awesome, is there any dissent? Hearing none, this legislation will go ahead and go to budgetary affairs, university affairs, and I was finding the gavel, DI. We'll now be moving into, or clapping, we'll move into clapping, and then we'll move into, Resolution 5543, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Sorry. Establishing a university-wide artificial intelligence policy. As their speaker pro tempore is one, Officer Eddington, if you could join me.
I'm sorry.
Resolution 5543, establishing a university-wide artificial intelligence policy. This resolution aims to call on Colorado State University's administration to create a university-wide policy on artificial intelligence usage. You have 10 minutes.
Hello all. I think the title in abstract speaks for itself. We are trying to get the university to establish a university-wide policy on AI usage with students and faculty and everyone here. So yeah, that's it.
Phenomenal. With that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A by first raised placard. Okay. Senator Singleton.
Yay. My question is, how does this account for AI usage in more academic, obviously academic, but I'm trying to figure out how to word this. How it would be used in assignments, and how it would be used when it is allowed to be used, and how this affects AI usage in assigned things, or I guess what I'm trying to say is, how is this is this an umbrella over AI completely, or is this just under academic misconduct?
So we're really just calling on the university to make any kind of statement on AI. At the moment, they don't have anything. It's left up to each college. And if you look at like the code of conduct, it's incredibly hard to understand what you can and can't do with it. They consistently avoid actually talking about it. You know, it's a tool, it's here. It's better for the university to say, hey, here's what you can and can't do with assignments, with other things, than leave it up to individual professors or individual colleges.
How does this in particular, darn, I just lost my train of thought. 1 second. How does this in general, like, is this telling the university to do it a specific way, or is it telling the university that we just want this to be done in general?
We just want it to be done. I don't think it would be right for us here to make a decision on the specific ways it can be done, especially without all these stakeholders involved in that situation present. It's more just asking, can you guys actually give us anything? Because they have nothing.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer. Oh my goodness, Senator Vega.
Soon to be. Just kidding. Yeah, yield to redundancy.
Thank you, Associate Senator Pendleton.
Hi, I was just wondering, were you aware of the email that I believe CSU admin had sent to professors about AI and about trying to implement AI into the classroom?
Yes, I am aware of that. The thing is, with that, they still do not give us, the student body, a policy on how it can be used. I have had professors both tell me, hey, you can use AI for anything in this class, and other ones who tell me I will be sent to the Student Resolution Center if they even think I'll use AI in the class.
Okay, I'm just gonna say that, like, I know you said this previously, but I'm gonna ask this again. Would you be open to putting in at least something that leans anti-AI or pro-AI, just to give like a statement on like which way you want it to lean?
We say in the bill ethical use of AI.
Use?
Yes.
Okay, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Singleton.
All right, I got my train of thought. Does this just refer to large language model AIs, or I know that a lot of STEM are producing their own forms of AIs where they're neural network AIs that are small and task-based, or is this just specifically on models like Claude, ChatGPT, and models that are often used in academic misconduct rather than AI used in data gathering and things like that?
It covers pretty much broadly everything, but I think we were thinking more targeted on those the large language models, since those are what we have seen overall in terms of student resolution and case centers and incidents, having that kind of like unknown of whether or not it's okay to use. Whereas a lot of things people are building themselves, typically there's clearly defined parameters in those classrooms for them. It's just the LLMs, which are colloquially these days known as AIs, even though they're not. but so largely aimed at those, but pretty broad, where it can be, the university can interpret it as all of them. Yeah.
And I think like on that note, one of my like specific things was like faculty making their own AI. This is specifically for not only students but on the faculty side as well, to establish a policy not only like how are students able to use it, but how are faculty able to use it, implement it in the classroom.
I see, okay. Just because I know that the College of Engineering is planning on making another building that has a lot to do with AI. Would you be willing to implement that into your bill, specifying that this is mostly for languages or models that are mostly used in like academic misconduct and things like that?
Point of information, do you mean like generative AI?
Yeah, I mean AI that is specifically designed, because I know that there's a lot of AI that does not have a good user interface for it, and most AIs that are used are large language models and generative, but not necessarily data processing AIs that don't have a user input.
In terms of like general suggestions, if our authors don't know if they specifically want to accept a certain kind of edit as of right this moment, feel free to be like, I'll decide that and argue it in committee.
Yeah, that's fair. I was just wondering.
I think we're both open to putting it in, but I wouldn't, yeah, I'll just leave it at that and we could go through in committee.
All right, very cool. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Associate Senator Pearson.
Hi guys. I was just gonna say real quick that I am in complete and in total support of this bill. I don't think that we inherently need to deliberate over it much longer, especially considering that it is getting late. So I'm a little bit new here. I don't know what I would say after this to move to either expedite or move to previous question.
Exactly that. It's moving to previous question.
Perfect.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, this will go ahead and be sent to University Affairs and DEI.
Additionally, I am constitutionally obligated to tell us we have about 20 minutes left of confidence business. Thank you.
Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into Bill 5544, the Office Hours Reform Bill.
Point of information, how many is left on the agenda?
Just
I
that.
believe this is the last piece of legislation.
Beautiful. Thanks, you.
I'm just gonna read what I said, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm sorry.
Resolution 5544, Office Hours Reform Bill. This bill aims to restructure senatorial duties by replacing the former office hour system with a more outcome-determined model centering on direct constituent engagement. You have 10 minutes.
Do you think that you could put up the shortened version, like the table that I have in Teams? It's in the weekly email as well.
Okay.
We're gonna put up a short table of really summarizing what this bill is. I'm gonna read this really fast so everyone listen up. When I ran for Speaker Pro Tempore, something I promised was accountability, not just for the Senate leadership, but for the entirety of the Senate body. The use of our previous office hours forms and the expectation that the Senate body adhere to it was not utilized last semester. Without this, accountability within the Senate body and to your own constituents is not ensured. As the Senate body, per your current job descriptions, you should be, quote, outreach focused, especially with the ideal of serving and supporting students who may not typically engage with student government or its resources. The Office Hours Reform Resolution restructures the previous office hour system to a more efficient use of the Senate body's time by scrapping the time requirement of outreach hours and providing appropriate labels for the categories of hours in which the Senate body completes their job descriptions. In simple terms, office hours is getting labeled into two categories, one of which is governance participation, which equals your committee and college council or director meeting for that week, and the engagement events, which were previously titled outreach hours. The requirements of outreach hours are identical to the requirements of engagement events, with the exception of the time constraint. Previously, outreach hours were measured on a timely basis, now they are being measured on an interaction basis. I also added that one of your engagement events must be spent within your own constituency. Kept the same, graduate students are exceptions to the expectation of hours completed outside of Senate sessions. If your college council or director meeting is not meeting that particular week, the governance participation hour within that group for that week is not applicable to you. On my end, the creation of a monthly calendar to show community service, engagement opportunities, CRC events, and other possibilities for outreach hours will start getting fulfilled. I plan to enforce the engagement events form, which is previously known as the office hour form. This form will be restructured with the types of question it asks, but will take a max 2 minutes to complete. Additionally, if you show a significant history of missing your governance participation hours without excusal or communication, the Speaker Pro Tempore will be allowed to ask for further verification of your attendance and completion of engagement events, which can include, but is not limited to, a photo of the event or a snapshot of you there. Strikes are now separated into 3 categories, being governance participation, engagement events, and Senate attendance. This is a brief overview of the changes being made in this document, but additionally, I plan to also amend our bylaws further in future legislation to offer a strike removal process, which would aid the Senate body in removing strikes they had earned through additional outreach.
Cool, with that, we'll now be entering a period of Q&A with First Rates Walker, Associate Senator Pendleton.
Awesome. I'm always on it. Just real quick, love the bill, love it. Just, I guess, more of a clarification question. Is this amending the Constitution? Or, yeah, okay.
No.
Okay, cool, I yield.
Thank you, Chair Hill. Also, if you have your placards up on this side and still want to talk, make sure you raise it to make aggressive eye contact.
Thank you. I know we've chatted a little bit about this. The only thing that I was confused about on the chart was, are we doing a weekly forum situation or a bi-weekly, or what's the status on that?
I did talk a lot with people, especially senators, in terms of this forum. After all my discussions, honestly, I'm choosing the weekly hill to die on. So yeah, weekly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Chair Vernier.
I think we talked about this briefly before, but how do you plan in this to handle extant circumstances, such as the fact that my college, the College of Business, does not have their senators on their student leadership council, and we have to request the ability to go see them?
As mentioned, if you are not able to have that college council or director meeting, it's just not applicable to you.
Additionally, as a brief point of additional clarification in terms of what's currently constituted and has been constituted for at least the last couple of years, our bylaws outline that in the event that a senator can't meet with their specific constituency or otherwise director, that they're just meant to do more engagement hours, which is also reflected in this. So it's not a change. Awesome. With that, Associate Senator Pearson.
Hi Farron, you low-key ate down with this, I love it. Just real quick, more so point of clarification. What in particular are we specifically classifying as an engagement event? And if there isn't like a specific regulation or rule set in place for what is an engagement event, or like not like a specific stencil in regards to what that is so far, how are we going to decide upon what is considered an engagement event in regards to these sheets and this policy?
Engagement events are the same, like the list of what can be considered an engagement event is the identical to what is considered as an outreach hour, and those can be found in your in the bylaws, but your job descriptions. Some of them I think I can go as like one-on-one conversations with prospective like ACCU members, conversations between you and other senators about current or future legislation, attending a club in which you are not a member of. Stuff like that. That list, while it is comprehensive, it is not limiting. If you have a question on if your engagement event is considered to be an engagement event, that will be directed toward me, and it's more of like at my discretion. But in all honesty, like I'm not planning to be a stickler about this stuff. Like if y'all are doing that direct constituent engagement, I'm gonna say yes. Like I'm not gonna be like, that's not a freaking engagement hour.
Fan-stinking-tastic, I yield.
Awesome. Senator Singleton.
I yield to redundancy.
Awesome. Senator Megan.
Are we like voting this today? Or are we allowed to? Or are we just putting it towards committee?
I would suggest sending it to committee to make sure that any technical things are worked out, but this is in its first reading, so we're not voting on whether or not it passes tonight.
Farron, I love this, by the way. I think this is great. We really needed this. There was no specificity of our last hours we need to complete, so anyways, I yield.
Awesome. Senator Johnson.
Hi, Farron. Did you mention vetoes? Question mark for like the engagement hours? That's the question. I sort of ended it as a sentence.
Can I ask what you mean by vetoes?
Or not vetoes.
Verification.
Strike. What's nope. I don't. Is it
Like
strike?
removal?
What are the 3 X's we get and then we're cut out?
The strikes.
Yes. Is there a strike for the engagement hours?
Yes.
Okay.
And can I say something?
Yes, sorry.
Point of information, y'all should have been receiving strikes for not completing your engagement hours. I am not changing that. It just not was enforced last. It just was not enforced by the last Pro Tem 4. So I'm sorry if this is gonna be a hard transition, but quite frankly, like direct constituent engagement is the main part of the job. And we do not exist here without direct constituent engagement. And that should be ensured, and I don't know why it wasn't ensured, so.
Okay, and then this is just a point of personal privilege. When we're in Q&A, just cues. Just cues. I don't need your thoughts before the cue. I just want the cue. I don't care. You can share your thoughts in discussion debate. I just want to hear the cues and yes. XOXO.
Wouldn't
I yield.
Wouldn't that also count?
Additionally, as a point of clarification, in response to that, all of you all additionally have the power to call that back in if you're seeing that it's happening too much and Brooke's being too nice. Be mean, but not mean. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. But with that, you yielded, correct?
Yeah, I yielded.
Phenomenal. Chair Leary.
Leary.
I'm sorry. I don't know about the other people in this room, but like, I've been filling out the form every week. I think this week was the only time that I did not manage to finish all my hours. I
Saw
didn't
that
manage
email.
to. I've had a migraine for the last 2 days, and I've been in bed. So I don't know what is going on, but like we should be doing our additional engagement hours. Like we should all be doing that. I use
Cues.
Generally, make sure that we're asking questions in Q&A and discussing and debating in discussion debate. Otherwise, I'll be more forceful with it. But with that, is there any other questions on this legislation? Seeing none, this will be sent to Internal Affairs and DI. We'll now be moving into ending roll call. Phenomenal. Senator Roberts.
I should move beginning roll call as ending roll call, and anyone who has not, or who came in late, please go to the front and add your name to the list.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? Shocker. We'll now be moving into adjournment. Whoa, we adjourned.
For office hours, he said
I want an actual count of how many people are. Actually, guys, it's really hard to miss me sitting right in the line.